schon mal den Blick nach oben richten, weil da ist der Spielball unterwegs. So, und der erste Fallschirmspringer ist gleich hier schon im Stadion. Da kommt er nochmal eine kurze Extra-Runde. Und ganz knapp langt er das Spiel hier. Und der Lotto Hessen ist noch oben. Der zweite Fallschirmspringer haben wir noch in der Luft. Und ich hoffe, seine Landung geht genauso smart wie die erste. So, hier haben wir Kickoff! Whoops! Und er hat den Ball mit dabei. Du kannst ihm direkt unser Maskottchen geben. Und wir hören von euch Freundschaft. Feiern, wenn die Nacht beginnt. Die guten alten Zeiten, die uns keiner mehr nimmt. Und dass wir immer noch Freunde sind, Damian!
Friday nights are normally reserved for the high school gridiron in the U.S., with growing popularity extending into the college game. Tonight from Frankfurt, American football will be played in Europe for the first time and under a new league umbrella. One of the most historic Euroball franchises faces off with one of the most talented teams on paper entering the inaugural EFA season. With Terrence Newman, I'm Kyle Schasberger. Welcome to the inaugural game of the European Football Alliance from PSD Bank Arena. It's the Paris Musketeers and the Frankfurt Galaxy. Terrence, Friday Night Lights certainly pulls on the heartstrings of Americans, and that will be the case tonight in the first ever game of a new league, the EFA.
Yeah, this is exciting, Al. The UFA, European Alliance. Football has been a growing sport, American football, in Europe. They've really taken to it, especially the fans in Germany. The Frankfurt fans have been passionate for a long time now. This team goes back several decades. It's exciting, though, to see all of these new teams to come together in this new league, start something new.
Yeah, the EFA this year will feature 6 teams. It's a round-robin format. Terrence, each team will play the other twice, and then there will be 4 teams that will advance to a semifinal. Eventually, a champion of the European Football Alliance will be crowned. So this is a pretty cool thing. You'll have 3 games across the weekend. This is the standalone game here on a Friday night from Frankfurt. 2 more games coming up tomorrow. But, Terrence, it's important to note as you see the Musketeers take to the field here in Frankfurt at PSD Bank Arena that this is American football rules, so nothing really different in terms of the European football that has been played. Again, American-style NFL rules. You'll have a 2-minute warning. You'll have 1 foot inbounds. That's a catch, 4 downs, all those sorts of things. It's American football as you know it being played in Europe, and a great organization in the Frankfurt Galaxy against the Paris Musketeers. And the head coach has really headlined this thing. You take a look at Jack Del Rio, a former NFL head coach, the Jaguars, the Raiders. He's an All-American at USC during his playing days. And Jack Del Rio is certainly a name that many folks understanding the game of football across the pond will certainly recognize.
That's for sure. Jack Del Rio has been around the sport of football for a long time. Linebacker at USC, was a linebacker in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings for a long time. Head coach with the Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this game. I'm sure it's got a thrill for a lot of these players, especially the European-born players, to get to learn and play under a coach like Jack Del Rio.
And Jack Del Rio will be opposed on the other sideline by the Frankfurt Galaxy's Thomas Koschling, and he's a legend in Frankfurt circles. Head coach 21-24 was someone who took this Galaxy team to their first ELF title game in 2021. Defensive-minded guys chosen not to be the defensive coordinator. An old-school mentality, blocking, tackling, fundamentals. He really preaches physicality and preparation, attitude, work ethic, all those things. Some people have referred to him as Mr. Galaxy. And as we ready for the Frankfurt team to take to the field here in this inaugural game of the European Football Alliance, Terrence, you can't gloss over what Thomas Koschling has built. And this team, so much history attached to this organization. Koschling is a big reason why, and he's a no-nonsense guy who can really relate to the players. And he returns incredible pieces all around.
Yeah, this is a new league, but this is not a new team. This is not a new franchise. The Frankfurt Galaxy have been around European football since they've started playing American football in Europe, and they've been one of the premier programs for a long time. And you can tell, if you see the stands, there is a passion base in Germany too. They are knowledgeable of the game, and so yeah, I'm excited to see this Frankfurt team play.
This will be the 7th meeting between these two here recently over the last few years, and you get a look at the Galaxy who are storming the field here in Frankfurt. Again, game 1 of this EFA season. Round robin, each team will play each other twice. Galaxy and Musketeers kicking things off Friday Night Lights in Frankfurt, Germany. Terrence, these two have been some pretty instant classics, quite a few of them, especially the last time they both met. It was a seesaw affair that came down to the final 19 seconds with the Galaxy coming out on top.
Yeah, they are 3-3 all the time. So it's been a pretty even matchup. Frankfurt Galaxy won the first 2 matchups, and then Paris won the 2 after that, and then they have split the last 2. So these two teams are pretty familiar with each other. They know what the other team likes to do. And every time they field together, it seems to be a pretty good, hard-hitting game.
Yeah, the last time they met was in Frankfurt also a season ago. 19-0 halftime lead for Frankfurt. It was a dominant first-half performance. Jack Del Rio's Musketeers were a different team, though, coming out of the locker room. QB Jalen Henderson interrupted for 340 total yards and 3 touchdowns. They stormed back with 24 unanswered points. And Jalen Henderson, the quarterback for the Musketeers, connected on a dramatic 2-point conversion to Austin Mitchell to give Paris a shocking 27-26 lead. But field goal kickers, #field goal kickers, they will come through at any point of the game. It's why you have them on the roster, and there's a pretty good one for the Galaxy as Ryan Rimler, Terrence, was able to come through just calmly drilling a game-winning field goal. And you've played football, you've been part of this game a long time. A guy who is seldomly lose might only take one swing at the football with his right leg throughout a contest, but he was able to come through for a dramatic victory.
Well, if we're playing football in Europe, if there's one thing you can count on, you're going to be able to find some guys that can kick the ball. So I'm not shocked to hear that they have some good special teams over there. Excited to see this game. Looking at the uniforms, the Frankfurt team's coming out. They're looking fired up, ready to go.
And Terrence, Ryan Rimler was the one with the game-winning field goal last year. This is a Paris team that returns a plethora of talent. Paris at quarterback, though, is headlined by one man that is known in most circles in Euroball as Magic Zach. Zach Edwards, 6'4", 230 pounds, an athletic playmaker. Terrence, he took a year off due to some family concerns, had lost his father tragically. His mom was battling cancer. But this is a guy that is expected to be more cerebral this year, understand more deeply what is being asked of him. He's been reunited with offensive coordinator John Booker, and it should be an explosive offense with Zach Edwards at the controls under center for Frankfurt.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Zach Edwards play. I've heard great things about his game. It's my first time seeing him live. Now, I am familiar, though, with Frankfurt QB Ethan Garbers. As you see coming to the field right now, that's 12. He is a solid quarterback. I got to watch him play a lot in college. He played at UCLA. He played under Coach Sean Foster, who I actually grew up with. We grew up in the same hometown. So I watched this guy closely. He is a good athlete. He's not a runner, but he can move. He's not a statue in the pocket. He's got a pretty solid arm. And he's not afraid to take shots. He can sling it.
Yeah, Zach Edwards quarterbacking for Paris and the Musketeers. So he is returning for Jack Del Rio. And Ethan Garbers, who has a pretty high-profile pass from his collegiate days at UCLA, had started his career at Washington, transferred over to the Bruins, won a job at a highly competitive quarterback room, even beat out Dante Moore, who's now a Heisman hopeful over at Oregon back in the States. And he was an LA Bowl MVP, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week honors with 5 touchdowns in that game. So Ethan Garbers, quarterback for the Frankfurt Galaxy, going up against Zach Edwards. You get a look at Zach right there as he makes his return. He is the all-time leading passer in Euroball. Zach Edwards against Ethan Garber. Certainly a high-profile quarterback matchup between those two here today. Plenty of other storylines to get into throughout. Garber's, there's a look at him wearing number 12. Garber's top-level experience, leadership, playmaking ability, again from UCLA, 4,462 yards, 32 touchdowns in his college career, 2,700 yards through the year with 16 touchdowns in his final year. So Terrence, super stoked for this matchup, especially the quarterback matchup, and a stingy defense top to bottom, maybe the best team on paper in Paris, but high upside, high potential from a historic franchise in the Frankfurt Galaxy. And there's a look at Thomas Koschling, the head coach for Frankfurt, as we pause now in anticipation of this inaugural contest of EFA. national anthems taking place here at PSD Bank Arena, ahead of Paris and Frankfurt. All set for football here at PSD Bank Arena. 15 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. If you subscribe to that measurement, we're here in Frankfurt, Germany with Terrence Newman. I am Kyle Schatz. We're the French national anthem called the La Marseillaise. Thomas Koschling, see his backside there, the head coach for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Again, hard-nosed, tough-minded head coach. Certainly a fixture in the Euroball ranks. There's Zach Edwards, quarterback for the Paris Musketeers. Coached high school ball in Minnesota. He attended D3 school over in the States. COVID kind of affected his recruiting process, so a D3 player in college. Because of that, wasn't able to get a fair shot at the NFL, and because of the family challenges that he was navigating at the start of the 2024 season, went back home, coached in high school, did other developmental work on the side, but Magic Zach is back in Euroball. Terrence, what kind of player were you?
Paris is going to want to try to. Growing up, I was a running back and I was a linebacker, and then when I moved to play strong safety, so I made my bread and butter mostly on the defensive side of the ball. But I did play a lot of running back growing up as a high school kid.
All right, so you've got chops to understand at least both sides of the field. We wouldn't have you on it otherwise, as we will have our coin toss now. Yeah, what are some of your keys? We started to discuss some of the quarterbacking, hype around this game. Obviously, Garbers against Edwards, but this Frankfurt team, top to bottom, pretty strong. Paris is kind of going all in, hoping to pair, Jack Del Rio, both as the head coach of this squad, but also the reunion with offensive coordinator John Booker, who's the heart and soul, acts as the GM, stepped aside last year and said, quote, a selfless act to be most useful is what he was looking to do, and kind of stepping aside and helping to, piece together this roster in the most appropriate way. But certainly storylines abound on both sides.
Yeah, John Booker said he really wants to try to get Austin Mitchell involved early in this game.
They are the main or two biggest shareholders of the Frankfurt Galaxy organization. Please, visiting captains, shake hands with the opponent.
Team captains on the field embracing each other. You can see Garbers and Edwards.
Yeah, captains.
The two quarterbacks first shaking hands. It's an all-natural surface at PSD Bank Arena.
Coin toss. Both teams has its side by their team logo, so we will go directly to the coin toss. It didn't flip, so we will repeat. Yes.
Also, der Coin hat sich nicht
Little
genug
trouble with the coin
gedreht.
flip there.
Big moment. Okay. Paris won the coin toss and deferred Frankfurt will be receiving the ball in the first half. Which side of the field do we want to kick to? Okay, thank you very much. Good luck.
All right, so Frankfurt will get the ball to begin things. Paris will get it back in the second half. Not to stunt your last thought there, Terrence, but I would think Paris is, when they get the ball, they're certainly looking to get Austin Mitchell involved very early with Zach Edwards.
Yeah, they want to establish that connection, get that chemistry going, see if they can get their playmaker going early to try to put some pressure on the Frankfurt Galaxy defense. It really is a great-looking environment out there today. They got a good crowd out there. Looks like a lot of the Frankfurt fans showed up. They haven't showed them yet, but I'm sure there's a lot of the Red Company Paris Musketeers fans in the house. But yeah, playing surface looks great, and I think we're ready to kick off some football, Kyle.
Yeah, we're about ready to go. Austin Mitchell, one of the two Americans on the Paris squad, two American imports on offense and defense for both sides. There are 6 non-native players on each roster. Everything else is homegrown. That's the way the European Football Alliance shakes out here for its inaugural season. Paris against Frankfurt. It's game 1, Friday Night Lights, PSD Bank Arena. And the Galaxy will be receiving the opening kickoff here in Germany. One of the key offensive weapons for Evan Easton. He's the American for Galaxy. And we are underway. The European Football Alliance, year 1, game 1, Friday night in Frankfurt. And the Galaxy will take the opening kickoff out to past the 20-yard line, close to the 25. It'll be first down for Frankfurt, as returning that kick is Tyler Foster. We'd see offensive coordinator Terrence Brandon Corbin deploy his quarterback Ethan Garbers for the first time making his European football debut.
Now, one to keep an eye out for is Brevin Easton for Ethan Garbers, the wide receiver. He joined the team midway through last season, had a strong end of the year where down the stretch he led the league in yards per game. He can play inside and outside, flexible, also a dynamic kick returner.
One of the main keys for Frankfurt, there's Ethan Garbers taking the first snap for the 18-yard line, dumps it off underneath, caught at the 21 for a short gain. Continuing to turn his feet and moving forward is Adria Botella Moreno. He is a Spain import, a.k.a. Mr. Worldwide. That's going to be one of Ethan Garbers' favorite targets. As Terrence, equally as important early on is Frankfurt's ability to establish the run.
Yeah, no, that was a great opening play right there. Just to get the jitters out, a little check down to the tight end, get the ball moving in the right direction. Yeah, Frankfurt wants to control the clock here.
Second and medium, handoff, tunneling forward, close to that first down marker at the 28. Is running back Gerald Amel. He is a German back, national team running back for Germany. You see just kind of a straight handoff, just plunging forward off the left side of the line.
Yeah, that was just a nice dive off the tackle there. Great job by the Frankfurt offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage there.
Paris defensively athletic and fast. Yeah, open those holes. That's a big old offensive line. They've upgraded the left side, has Frankfurt. Here's a third and 1, and a completion on the right flat for a first down from Garbers to Paul Cavada Lenhart, a German, quick, small, explosive wideout. And they'll move the chains.
Yeah, that was a great play design there. They had all the other wide receivers run deep streaks. They just left the flat open there for the Frankfurt wide receiver to just slide right in. Just enough for the first down.
Oh, looks like it might have been ruled incomplete. Yeah, ruled incomplete there late on the play, apparently. So we're going to have a punt.
Delay of game.
Now a flag on a delay of game. That'll back up Frankfurt.
Still fourth down.
They'll be kicking from their own 23-yard line or so.
Yeah, he must have bobbled that ball a little bit as he was going out of bounds there. Why they changed it to incomplete.
A 4th and 7 for Frankfurt. Just underway in this first ever EFA contest from PSD Bank Arena. Kick is away. Out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. And Zach Edwards and this Paris Musketeers offense will go to work. Paris, Terrence looking to get over the proverbial hump. Most talented, arguably the best on paper coming in. One of the main differentiators in terms of their success in chasing down a championship. Obviously, Jack Del Rio teaming up with John Booker, but that attention to detail, Terrence, which is so different, that belief to win a title, and it starts with discipline.
And it looks like they're coming out here starting in a empty backfield set. 5 wide. Going to spread them out. Spread them out to run.
And, immediately in the backfield, it is blown up as a big hit is delivered by Dominique Mambo. As Edwards kept it, and he was absolutely eviscerated. Had his clock rung. Kind of that swinging door, just
that was
slammed
a
in
solid
half.
Tackle there.
Yeah, Mambo delivering the boom. Some of the coaches had said that he might have been one of the bigger surprises of camp for the Frankfurt Galaxy.
There is no foul for Eagle formation. The result of the play is a second down.
Our head referee, Stanley Hamiter, picking up the laundry on the field. Zach Edwards has the key to this offense, Terrence, and that's a lot of quarterback run option based on what he sees out of the pre-snap.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of this offense in his hands, and where he has the decision to decide what the play would be.
Here he'll hand the ball forward, and surging across the 40, close to the 41 is Jason Bafunda. Big, strong back, will chew up chunks of yards. He's able to get one.
Now, the Frankfurt defensive line is pretty active. They're flying in there pretty fast. France's offensive line have to do a better job establishing the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 7 for Zach Edwards and this Musketeers offense on their opening possession. Surveying in the pocket out of the shotgun. It breaks down around him, and he backpedals and falls to the turf. A sack for this Frankfurt Galaxy defense. He was smothered, ran out of time, nowhere to go with the football, and the Galaxy force a 3-and-out.
That was a great opening drive by the defensive front of the Frankfurt Galaxy. They had 2 solid stops against the run, and then were able to get to the quarterback on 3rd down. Really active up front. France is going to have to tighten it up on the offensive line there.
Now a punt from Paris to Frankfurt. It might have been a shank from the punter for Paris. Flag down. We'll wait to hear from Stanley Hamiter. Yeah, one of the priorities for this Frankfurt defense was stopping the run, applying more pressure. You saw that on display on that 3rd and long against Zach Edwards. They ended up coming away with the sack.
Yeah, they were real active off the edge. So as soon as they saw the ball, they were attacking.
Some difficulties with Stanley Hamiter's mic, but you can see the infraction was on Frankfurt. These two teams over the last 6 meetings, again, there have been some thrillers. Average combined point total just under 50. So we will re-kick here. Back to return for Paris will be Zinedine Benjabou. Rather kicking for Paris. Punter gets it away, and it will angle out of bounds inside the 30. That's Yanni Gofel. First down for Frankfurt. They went 3 and out on their first trip. It was an incomplete pass on third down. Garber's looking for Kvidia Lenhart. Looked like he had caught it in the right flat. Yanni also a solid kicker for Paris, new import. And here's Garbers with his second series. Out of the gun. Fakes the handoff. Flies one in the right flat. Caught at the 25. Racing towards the first down marker. Far side of the field. Out of bounds. And close to that first down marker.
Nice little play action. Roll back. Catch the running back in the flat there. And then let him make a little, make some yards after the catch. Now, the Paris defense is going to have to do a better job of wrapping up. Right there.
Tough running from Gerald Ameln. As Garber trots back on a fresh set of downs. Now trying to wiggle free, and he is dropped for a loss on the play. Elton Mendez was in the area. Started as an offensive lineman. Solid physical in the middle. You see big old 69 racing forward.
That was what I like to call a covered sack right there. The DBs did a really good job covering up all the wide receivers. Ethan really had nowhere to go but step up in the pocket, which just led him right into the arms of the big Paris defensive tackle.
Mamadou ended up getting the tackle, 2nd and 13, and now a draw straight ahead. Melm with daylight as he picks up 9 or 10 yards through the gut of that Paris defense. Create a 3rd and short situation.
Yeah, you could tell they really had Paris defense off balance there. That fool, they were definitely looking for the pass to the outside.
So 3rd and 3, some defense for Paris. They'll use 2 linebackers, 5 DBs, really deploying Sam or nickel position. You'll see Amir Kalani likely come up in the box. A 3rd and 3 for Garbers and the Galaxy. Quick throw out to the left, complete. First down near midfield. That connection to Brevin Easton, 5'11" American. Very high ceiling for that young man.
Yeah, so far out there, this Frankfurt Galaxy offense seems to be clicking pretty good. Little short hook out to the flat to pick up the first down. Eventually, all these short passes, they're going to keep bringing the defense up, and they're going to eventually set them up to take a shot deep. But this isn't the play.
We've seen Garbers operate with that poise and efficiency. Now stepping up in the pocket on courts one over the middle of the field, that's dropped. It was a good-looking ball there, Terrence, but Tyler Foster couldn't hang on.
Yeah, it was a good-looking pass. Not sure what happened there. Might have heard some footsteps. Might have got a little sun in the eyes, but yeah, no, he just couldn't pull that one in. But he should have. It was right in his. That's first down. That was a great throw by Ethan.
Yeah. Right in his breadbasket. So Foster lets Garbers down there. He's 2nd and 10. High snap pulled in. Meln cutting close to the 45 of Paris. Small chunk there for Meln. And I love this guy's story, Terrence. He played behind an import in Sandro Platzgammer from Austria, who got a cup of coffee with the New York Giants, but then retired to become a doctor. So Meln is really relishing the opportunity following the exit of a pretty known commodity in front of him.
I like a well-rounded running back. When you're a doctor, you were well-rounded.
He's thick. There's some young guys behind him as Garbers will sling one off in the right flat. Another first down coming up for Frankfurt. As we're midway through the first quarter,
So far, Kyle, I'm seeing Frankfurt seems to be controlling the offensive line scrimmage. Their O-line's done a really good job blocking up front. Paris is going to have to toughen up on the defensive line and on the offense. Because right now, Frankfurt's controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Player from Paris, number 3.
Amir Kalani, who delivered that punishing blow and stomp, he's going to be helped off the field. Injury timeout. Kalani playing that Sam or nickel position, always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Jack Del Rio, head coach of the Musketeers. Kalani does really look to be shaken up as he makes his way towards the training table on the sideline.
It looks like a shoulder injury. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to massage his shoulder. Maybe pop that in place.
Jack Del Rio operates as the defensive coordinator for this team. No surprise. Really smart plan. He knows what is important. 1st and 10 for Garbers with time, stepping up in the pocket. Unloads, caught at the 30 near sideline. And angling out of bounds is Paul Cavada-Lenhart.
Yeah, this Frankfurt Galaxy offense is really starting to look. Ethan got plenty in the pocket. And right now, the Paris defense is staying so far back. They don't want to give up anything deep, so they're just going to give up the underneath pass. And yeah,
so again, the Galaxy able to move the change.
Del Rio, I mean, he was a long-time NFL linebacker. You'd think a lot of that expertise should carry over. There's a touchdown. Oh, no.
And his defense nearly got exposed there. Another open man, maybe Garbers a little too much on that throw over the middle into the end zone. Just down to the reach.
That's our second ball of the day that I think wide receivers probably should have been able to pull in. But he might have been a little spicy on that throw.
I don't know about you, Terrence, but you're seeing Garbers really display what we come to know of him from his days playing at UCLA. Rhythmic passer, processes quickly, will throw accurately even on the move. Hasn't had to extend many plays on his own as he will burn a timeout with 6:34 to go in the first quarter. But that pocket presence and efficiency, Ethan Garbers is really putting on a clinic. Just a couple of his receivers have let him down at times.
I have been very so far, Kyle, by what I've seen. On that last throw, he knew exactly where he was going with the ball. No hesitation. His receiver was coming out of his break. He was letting that thing fly. That, honestly, for that last play, it seemed like maybe just like a little timing thing. Something that will come with more repetition as you get more familiar. I'm not sure how long these guys have been in camp practicing together. But that's one of those timing issues that'll come together as the season goes along and they play together longer. But so far, I'd say this has been a great start by Ethan Garbers. He looks very confident in the pocket.
Confidence will take you a long way, and Ethan Garbers is not like that. Newport Beach, California native. The American quarterback making his Euro Ball debut for the Frankfurt Galaxy. as Thomas Koschling's crew looks to strike first in Frankfurt. And a handoff up the middle as Garbers was just able to get that to his back. Melm. Short pickup there as the clock continues to churn in the opening quarter.
That was a muddy by the Paris defensive line there. They really held their ground.
You can't bring a Melm down, though, with first contact. I mean, he is a angry runner, right? Still able to bounce it off the right side for a couple. Tight formation for Garbers as he lost one short, caught at the 17 by his back. Mel, and he's dragged down from behind by Ilan Barberis, Mike linebacker for Paris. And Ryan Rimler, who was the hero last year. Yeah, it was kind of like a check down, just trying to get some positive yardage. Play had broken down. Credit Garbers, though, for getting rid of it, right? Positive yards?
Yeah, you got rid of it fast. You don't want to give up field position, especially when you're in field goal range. But I do believe that the crosser going to the top side of the field was who he was initially going for.
32-yard field goal from Ryan Rimler. Splits the uprights. And Frankfurt Galaxy scores the first points of this inaugural EFA season.
Yeah, if you're Frankfurt, I think you have to be pretty happy with the offenses come out so far. Your offensive line has really controlled the line of scrimmage. Ethan Garbers, we both said he's looked poised. He seems to know where he wants to go with the ball. Right now, the only thing I'd be worried about is maybe just wide receivers catching it once the ball gets to him. But other than that, I think this has been a pretty successful opening quarter for Frankfurt so far.
That was a long, sustained drive, too, for the Galaxy. 6 minutes and 7 seconds by my math. Not the greatest. That's Chicago math for you. But that drive started around the 11:23 mark or so. Unofficially.
I'm a big fan of both these teams' uniforms. I think they both look sharp. I like the Paris numbers. It reminds me, do you remember the old Toronto Blue Jays uniforms with the line through the number? It's the vibes I get from the Paris uniforms. But both teams
I can see that. That's not far off. Yeah. That is fair. I like them. It's clean. As Austin Mitchell will watch that one bounce through the back of the end zone. Ryan Rimler kicking that one through, and the Galaxy with a 3-0 lead will now look to protect that with nearly 10 minutes gone by in the opening quarter. Again, 2 more games heading your way tomorrow. This inaugural season, the opening weekend of EFA. Terrence Newman, along with me, I'm Kyle Schasberger for this first ever game. Games tomorrow will feature the Nordic Storm and Prague Lions, Munich Ravens, Raiders Tyrol on Sunday. Zach Edwards goes to work. Will loft one left side that is too tall for his intended wideout. Maybe a little miscommunication there, Terrence, as he was looking for his wideout on the left flat.
Yeah, right now the Paris offense just needs to take a little deep breath and regain their composure. I mean, he was open. He just overthrew him. Edwards just a little too hyped up on that throw.
That's Austin Mitchell, wearing number 6, all-time leading wide receiver at Southeastern Louisiana. As Edwards will cock back towards the right and bobbled by his target, Hassan Dasso.
Now that time the throw was on target. That's on the wide receiver. Dasso's got to pull that one in. He's got to help his quarterback out on that.
Edwards had time, too. He opted to fling a shorter pass off to his right side. Looked like there might have been an opening down the middle of the field if he had waited another second or two. Throw might have been a tad out of the reach of Dasso, but to your point, Terrence, it hit him in the hands. It was there. Expect your receiver to be able to make that catch. And now Edwards walking towards his sideline. Would appear Paris is going to burn a timeout ahead of a critical 3rd and 10.
Yeah, I like this timeout. The Paris offense seems just a little discombobulated so far on this drive, so far in this game. This is an important 3rd down, calm the nerves, make sure everybody's on the same page. Because right now the Frankfurt Galaxy offense and defense are really in control of this game and seem to be executing the game plan they want.
Zach Edwards entered this game as the top passer, 32-year-old in European football history. Needed only 8 more passing yards to officially reach the 12,000-yard milestone. Set coming in. He hopes he gets it on the first drive. Here's Paris operating for the second time. Edwards trying to make something out of nothing. Wrapped up and smothered out of bounds on the near sideline. No chance. Flag was thrown before the brouhaha here on the Galaxy sideline.
I think we might have
an additional flag came in.
Let's see here. I think there's a face mask right there. Yeah. But back to what I was saying, Edwards has to keep his composure on that. He gets bailed out by the flag here, but that's a play where if you see nobody open, you got to make the decision. You're either running it or you're throwing it out of bounds. You can't hold on to it that long.
You wonder how much Terrence maybe having a year off might be impacting Edwards and kind of getting accustomed to game speed again and getting comfortable under center with real live game reps.
Oh, that's a good call, Kyle. People really underestimate what it takes out of you being away from the game for a while.
Ball by Galaxy. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 99. There was also personal foul, face mask, number 22. The penalty is 15-yard, automatic, first down.
So the face mask goes against Louis Chantre, Frenchman. It's a personal conduct foul against Jean-Laurent Perez.
Yeah, back to what you were saying, Kyle. It takes you a little while to get used to the speed of the game again, but then not only do you need to get used to the speed of the game and the speed of your opponents, it takes you a little while to get back to where you're just playing, you're just reacting and you're not thinking about every move. And so you could tell on that last play, there's a lot of overthinking instead of him just reacting.
That Frankfurt Galaxy is led by new defensive coordinator Anthony Calgene, young upstart, energetic mind, a lot of enthusiasm, as a big play is ripped off towards very close to that first down marker. A carry from Nicholas Kondar, smart, tough, vertical runner. Anthony Calgene, though, is the DC for Frankfurt. His motto, play fast, hoping this team defensively can play like a lot of the great teams of Frankfurt's past, playing hard, playing fast, playing together. And that was maybe the biggest offensive play we've seen to this point from Paris. Another run by Kander. Right at the marker, left side.
Yeah, Kyle, I think those last two plays have probably been the best two plays the Paris offensive line has looked so far in this game. They really controlled the line
Inside
of scrimmage
of
and moved some bodies.
And so maybe Paris is on to something. It's kind of a low snap, too, that Edwards was able to dig out. Kangaroo has won French titles, mainstay with the Musketeers last year. Another run up the middle. Straight up the gut of that Galaxy defense. Paris decided to go right at the defensive coordinator, Anthony Calgine's defensive crew. This one was handed off to Jason Bufunda, big, strong back.
Yeah, the Paris offensive line, these last few plays, have really started to get their groove back and started to move that Frankfurt defensive line. After 3 runs in a row, I'd be on the lookout for the play action here.
Second and manageable for Edwards. One back behind him. Unleashes over the middle. Passes caught at the 22. That's Hugo Tekadam. Parisian backup quarterback, also reliable threat in the receiving game. Big play potential, and he's able to go up and use his body to snag a nice one from Edwards.
Now, that was a really good job by Edwards keeping his composure in the pocket. You see the Frankfurt Galaxy defensive end coming off the edge, but it did not rattle Edwards. He stayed in there, delivered a nice solid throw, got the first down.
Tackle Finn Schwarzkopf as Edwards will throw right. Might have been tipped, but somehow still caught right at the 10 by Hassan Dasso. Came up in the Flash system, 3-time college All-Star at the University of Montreal. New addition, and you see his smooth play on display.
You know, this Paris offense was a little discombobulated, but ever since they took that timeout earlier in this drive, they have been really locked in and moving the ball pretty solid.
Yeah, and that was on a 3rd and 10, Terrence, where the penalties were the only thing really that aided Paris in achieving a first down, but they're rolling down. Here's Edwards on a 2nd and 1. Gets the ball away, handoff, left side, close to the end zone, and just short. As Dasso got that within inches of the goal line. It'll be a first down, though, for the Musketeers inside of a minute to play in the first quarter as they're on the doorstep of taking the lead.
Yeah, that was just a solid play call there. Stretch the defense out. Little speed sweep.
End around. See what John Booker in Paris has dialed up on a 1st and inches. Edwards will keep it himself. Tunneling towards the end zone. Is he in? Waiting for the signal.
I don't think he's a guy.
As the bodies are being unfurled. And right back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, his head broke the plane, but I don't think the ball ever broke the plane.
The goal line.
Yeah.
2nd down. Also, during the play, that was the end of the first quarter.
So that'll be the final play of the first quarter. The Frankfurt Galaxy defense stands tall. Anthony Calgine, the DC, talked about his son's reputation to develop elite units and impact players. Has arrived via Gannon University. Turned a consensus All-American in his first year. Younger guy. He's really tasked with quite the challenge here. 3-0 is our score as Frankfurt leads Paris. We ended the second quarter. This is the European Football Alliance at PSD Bank Arena. Game 1 of the inaugural season. Paris had the ball for the final 4:56 of the first quarter. Start of the second quarter, they trail Frankfurt 3-0. Terrence, what do you got dialed up for a second and short at the goal line for Magic Zach and company?
I think we're going to get a handful of the scoop we just got, another QB sneak. Honestly, I would line him up under center, but
he's going out of the gun. Awkward snap, takes it, falls ahead, he is short. Might have slipped a little too. Banana peel underneath the left foot of Magic Zach, and now it's 3rd and inches.
And see, that's why I would prefer him to be under center. The bad snap cost him the touchdown here. He had to adjust to catch that ball, and then adjusting to catch that ball caused him to slip when he tried to get his momentum going towards the line of scrimmage. And I think they're going to go batting well again, honestly. But I would line him up underneath center.
It'll be out of the gun again, a pistol-like formation. There's the snap, the handoff, motoring to the goal line. It looks like the Galaxy have built a wall again. They turn back Paris. 3 consecutive tries at the goal line.
That was an amazing goal line stand by Frankfurt. If I'm Paris, though, I'm going for this, and it looks like they are going to go for this. It's been too good of a drive to come away with nothing, though, so you got to make sure you really get this touchdown here.
Close to a 7-minute drive. 4th and inches, opening stages of the second quarter. Edwards again out of the pistol. Snap, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and he is blown up in the backfield. Oh, the Frankfurt Galaxy slammed the door on the Musketeers. No points for Paris, and Frankfurt maintains a 3-0 lead. Flag on the play afterward.
Kyle has 4 plays on the line of scrimmage. 4 times he's lined up in the pistol or shotgun. I get that being under center is probably not an offensive formation they use a lot or at all. But in that situation, you have to have some sort of package, some sort of goal line package where your quarterback is under center. Not a fan of those play calls there on the goal line.
Yeah, it's easy to question after 4 consecutive runs unsuccessfully too. Some of the play calling, but plenty of game left. Thomas Koschling getting his money's worth with one of the near side umpires.
There was no foul in the play. First down, Galaxy.
It's that Frankfurt defense is too good to give them the same look over and over again.
And Terrence, it's those exotic looks. Anthony Kalchin, again, who has had stops at UCLA. Akron Marshall, who's a volunteer coach at UCLA. Younger guy with energy and swagger, wanting to play fast. And even the offense of the Galaxy, Garbers and company struggled against some of those schemes in the preseason. And the Galaxy defense turned loose. And now Garbers and company for Frankfurt deep in the shadows of their own end zone. A first down handoff, just trying to create some breathing room as Meln will carry it out a yard or 2.
Yeah, they're just trying to get out of the shadow of their own end zone here. Now, if I'm Frankfurt, you've had a great first quarter on offense. Your defense just had a great goal line stand. I'm not going to push this too hard. I just want to make sure if I can get the first down, great. But I just want to make sure I don't have any turnovers or any mishaps here in your goal line.
2 wide receivers set, 1 back as Garbers will elevate one over the middle, and it is immediately snuffed out by the Musketeers. Nice defensive play is made by Kevin Cordero Diaz, cornerback from France.
Yeah, like on this third down here, Kyle, I wouldn't even be surprised if they just run the ball here just to get a few extra yards for the punt.
That was Amir Kalani who actually had come up with the stop, the safety, so his shoulder looks to be doing much better. He has returned to the game. And yeah, with 3rd and 8, it's just a game of field position here, operating with a lead. Terrence, to your point, Garbers drops back on 3rd and 6. Now he's going to take off himself, leaks forward close to the 15, might have the first down. He's fired up, signals forward himself, and I believe the Galaxy quarterback in Garbers got it.
Yeah, you could tell he had it in his mind. No hesitation. As soon as he saw some daylight, he took off. You could tell he wasn't trying to force any bad throws or dangerous throws down there in that part of the field.
Holding. Offense number 79. The penalty is a hard distance to the goal. Repeating, 3rd down.
Oh, that's a killer. Yeah, there's a hold there, I think, on, what do you think, the right guard, maybe? Al-Sufi Karimi, who played at Virginia.
79, yeah. 79, you could tell he had his left hand hooked around the defensive tackle's shoulder there.
One of the best in the league. So now Garbers on a 3rd and 8. He's going to saunter right side again. Dives forward. And he has the first down. Garbers does it again anyway. Wasn't discouraged by the flag. He ran right off that right side of the line again for Frankfurt. His team feels as good about the right side as they have in a long time. And Garbers making plays again with his feet.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the pregame. Ethan Garbers is a really good athlete. I wouldn't call him a scrambler. He's not Michael Vick. He's not Steve Young, but he's got good legs. He can move. He can make plays with the ball.
Garbers with time in the pocket, sets and nearly picked off at the 25. In and out of the hands of Yanni Goodfell. Extremely talented safety for this athletic and fast Musketeers defense.
And that play is exactly what I was saying they want to avoid right now in this part of the field. For that goal line stand, you do not want to give Paris the ball back with short field position.
Yeah, Jack Del Rio, a Paris-led defense by the head coach, and you see a vicious tackle in the backfield is made by El Animal, a.k.a. the Animal, Mamadou Sai. He had a big sack earlier, but Terrence, Jack Del Rio, opportunistic defensive mind. He can flip this game in a hurry. While it seems like only a 3-0 game, but still Frankfurt has dominated for the most part. But this is a very dangerous part of the field where Del Rio and this Musketeers defense can change things in a hurry.
Yeah, the score is closer on the scoreboard than it is in vibes. Frankfurt has been dominating, but the score doesn't say much. But the defense is tuning it up right there. Great.
Sai again, shot out of a cannon. A little dance move to boot. Love it from the big man. He's at the end of his career, but he has been a French football mainstay. Leader of this team, strong, physical, and he is feasting right now in that Frankfurt Galaxy backfield.
I mean, it's a well-earned nickname.
El Animal. That's got to be one of the best in Euroball, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like Paris caught Garbers a little off. They caught him off guard there with that blitz. He wasn't quite ready for that.
Punt is away, taken at the 30, or 45 rather, spinning away across midfield, knifing up the center at the 35, 30, and falling forward. A tremendous return for Paris and Austin Mitchell. As he was a bolt of lightning, and now the game of field position is favoring Paris as they continue to trail 3-0, but in excellent shape here early in the second quarter.
Yeah, we talked about Austin in the opening. They actively want to get him involved more in the offense, and you can tell he's already involved in special teams. Very quick, very shifty. He actually tackled himself there. Kind of the turf got him. He juked himself out of making a bigger return there, but great play, given the position.
He sets up on the far side of the field as Edwards now will take off as he beams towards the near sideline. 15-yard run. First down carry for Edwards. Mitchell's the nephew of the NFL legend Brian Mitchell. An all-time leading receiver in southeastern Louisiana, led yards and touchdowns for Paris a couple of years ago.
Brian Mitchell's a long-time return specialist in the NFL. So you can see where he gets those punt return skills from. That was a great play by Snare. That's one of those timing getting used to be back in the game. He didn't rush it. He saw the opening and just took the open yards.
Edwards fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, sheds one tackler, but then he is mauled by a bevy of Galaxy defenders, including Mason Chambers and Chris Malumba.
That Frankfurt Galaxy defense is flying around. There's one of our Paris Musketeers fans.
They call him the Red Company. It can be electric there in the crowd. They've made the
Red Company, but the beard looked blue.
6-hour trip or so east across Luxembourg. A 2nd and 3. Edwards dials one short towards the 8, but it was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. He was looking for Austin Mitchell. One of the offensive linemen for Paris lost his lid. See where the breakdown might have been in coverage. Really just a tremendous play and swat by the Galaxy's Chris Malumba. Amazing talent. Zach Stunner, the last 2 years, among the best in the league. Played in the CFL before coming to Europe. He was able to get his big paw up off the defensive end. 3rd and 8. Can Paris find success here in the red zone? Edwards loses the football, and it is gobbled up by his offensive lineman inside the 15. Flags are flying. A Chantre for the Galaxy, arguing his case. I'm not sure if the hit, Terrence, caused the football to be jarred loose, or if Edwards kind of lost it himself as he was trying to cock back and find one of his receivers in the right flat.
In real time, it looked like he was maybe trying to bring the ball back in, but
there were 2 fouls in the play. Illegal touching of the forward pass offense. There is also a personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. Number 22. Penalties are offset. We repeat the 3rd down.
Well, I guess that's a best case scenario, huh, Terrence? Yeah. Yeah, at least for both. Let's just redo the play.
Yeah, I'm going to need to see a replay of that. I don't know how that's roughing the passer.
You could tell that.
He hasn't thrown the ball yet.
Yeah, Chantre was very disgusted with the ruling immediately. The lineman on the right side caught it. There was the illegal touching. Here's a 3rd and 8. Edwards scrambling away from traffic towards the right side. What's he going to do? Lofts one towards the back of the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Paris takes a 6-3 lead as Zach Edwards goes off script. That's when he's at his best. Magic Zach with the TD, but we will see what this flag is all about.
Also, Touchdown wurde angezeigt durch den Ref, aber gleichzeitig lange.
Pass catcher was Remy Bertellin, French veteran, dependable.
If this play stands, this is a great job by Bertellin. Edwards.
Pass interference, offense, number 8. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat in third down.
Hassan Doso gets called for the offensive pass interference. I didn't see him in that frame there on the replay, but a little too handsy, and that'll take the touchdown off the board.
Yeah, he was towards the top corner of the end zone. He was pushing off of his off the DB, trying to come back to Edwards. Edwards was holding on to the ball a little long there. Wide receiver Patellin did a great job of staying moving and keeping active and making sure when he saw his quarterback scrambling that he got to a position where his quarterback could see him. That was a really great job by the wide receiver Patellin.
Edwards with a quartet of wideouts to his right side, a 3rd and 20. Over the middle, incomplete, intended for Hugo Tekadam.
That was just a bad pass.
And we'll see.
He was behind him. Now, if he'd gotten that pass out in front of him, he had some room to run.
Yeah, maybe some of the signs of rust being shown by Edwards. He had time in the pocket, too, and misfired over the middle.
I mean, that looked like a miscommunication where Edwards thought the wide receiver was going to in that pocket of the defense right there, but the wide receiver kept going. So yeah, I'm not sure if that was a timing or just a miscommunication on the route between the quarterback and wide receiver.
Dean Faithful misses wide to the left. The Brit cannot tie this game up midway through the second. Import kicker cannot come through. Faithful is off to the left. And I think you're right, Terrence. That last passing play, you would have thought that Tekadam might have settled in between the two defenders and instead kept running a crossing route. And
I don't think
miscommunicative blunders.
Yeah, the way that pass, I can't believe he would have missed it by that much. He definitely thought that the receiver was going to sit down in that pocket there.
So far, the first half is a story of missed opportunities for Paris and defense aplenty from both sides. And no touchdowns on the board in this low-scoring affair. First game of the European Football Alliance across this opening weekend. Field goal coming at the 5:06 mark of the first quarter. More than an 8-minute drive from Frankfurt, ending at a 32-yard field goal as Garbers can't connect on a first down pass attempt. Gunning for his wideout Brevin Easton, the American.
Yeah, Easton's got to pull this one in. Right in the hands. He had room. No excuse on that one.
Garbers will spread him out wide.
So far this game.
No question, Terrence. He will loft one deep down the left sideline and let his tight end a little too far. And Botella Moreno, mainstay in the league for a bunch of different teams. Hamburg to Vienna, Vienna to Paris, Nordic Storm to Frankfurt, veteran leader, difference maker. He had a catch very early in this contest of short yardage. Unable to track that one down. A 3rd and long coming up for the Galaxy. This will be a win for Paris here at Terrence. After another missed conversion and getting points, be able to force the 3 and out.
Oh, this would be huge. Huge stop. Especially get the ball back before half, see if you can make a little noise going in the half.
4 receivers set, 3 to the left side. Garbers moving towards the near sideline, and he will be stood up at the 20. Nothing was open downfield. Garbers tried to extend the play to allow his receivers to sort of ad-lib and go off script. But there's the Paris Musketeer defense, guided by Jack Del Rio, their head coach, that is able to bottle up Frankfurt here in the second quarter.
So in a play like that, Ethan needs to have the presence to just throw the ball away. Don't lose yards.
Galaxy on to punt. Bastian Roppel. taken at the 41. Fair caught by Austin Mitchell. So decent field position for the Musketeers. They trail 3-0. Seventh meeting all time between these two, many of which have come down to the wire. Frankfurt last year winning with a game-winning field goal from Ryan Rimler, 19-second comeback. He's had 4 game winners in his career. 2 have come against Paris. He's responsible for the only points, a 32-yard field goal late in the first quarter. Handoff left side from Edwards to his back. Bafunda across the 40, close to the 45.
Now on this drive here, Paris really would like to eat up as much clock as possible. You want to score, but you also want to make sure Frankfurt doesn't have enough time to do anything with the ball.
2nd and 9, Edwards on course one right side that is hauled in. Coming back to the football is Doso, and he is shepherded out of bounds. A 3rd and short coming up for Paris.
Great job by Edwards getting that ball out before the blitz got to him.
Rodion Henrique administering the tackle. Played for Hamburg last year. Technically sound corner. Dutch import. 3rd and 2 for the Musketeers. Edwards fakes the handoff. Fires over the middle. Caught at the 28. Big time connection to Remy Bertellen. First down, Musketeers.
Now that was an excellent play call, Kyle. 3rd and short, so of course they're expecting Frankfurt to sell out on the run, so they give him the play action and catch number 5 streaking down the seam. Great play call by the Paris offensive coordinator.
And maybe set up too by Edwards throwing underneath, because Frankfurt is playing back some, or at least had. And Edwards able to find the underneath route, then stretch the field in the next play. And here on a slant, it's dropped by his receiver Doso. Another drop in this ball game. We've seen a few on both sides.
Yeah, this has not been a good half for Doso. Number 8, 2 drops and a offensive pass interference. And he had room to run on that one too. If he would have caught that ball, he probably could have scored. He's going to be kicking himself on that one.
So the big connection to Bertolini. We'll see if it pays dividends. 2nd and 10. Edwards backpedaling. Underneath, drops it off to his back. He takes one big hit, coughs up the football, and the Galaxy pounce on it. Inside the 20, first turnover of the ball game, and Paris squanders another opportunity. Recovered by Toby Naylor. The Brits, heart and soul of the defense in that Mike linebacker position. And the Galaxy maintain their lead. They have the football late in the second. That's Condor who is running. Kind of got a little, not that he was necessarily careless with the football, but holding it with one hand, Terrence. It was kind of crowbarred loose. Credit the defense.
Yeah, no, that Frankfurt defense was just swarming on that one. Edwards has to be a lot more careful with the ball.
Almen takes it ahead for 1 or 2 yards. So our first turnover, we've seen Paris fail 4 times at the goal line. We've seen a missed field goal. And now a fumble inside the opponent's 20-yard line. Garbers takes a 2nd and 10 snap. Scurries towards his right. Clock continuing to roll.
It's been a really sloppy first half so far for Paris. They want to win this game. They're going to have to tighten some of this up in the second half. The penalties, the drop passes, the turnovers.
Garber's a blue-chip quarterback. Played American college football at UCLA, is bulldozed over in the backfield inside the 15. Jack Lowe delivering ahead. High motor guy off the edge defensively for Paris, one of the first on the scene. And Frankfurt is going to have to punt.
Yeah, the Paris defensive front has really stiffened up these last two drives. Early in the first quarter, Frankfurt's offensive line was really controlling the line of scrimmage, but Paris's defensive line is really evened that back out.
This is 2-minute warning.
We have reached our 2-minute warning here in the first half. 3-0 Frankfurt on top of Paris. A defensive tussle. Mistakes have really plagued Paris. There's been some on Frankfurt's side as well. It is opening week, first game for both sides, the inaugural game of the European Football Alliance. But some of that has shown through to higher degrees, at least from Paris's standpoint. We will step aside, come back, and resume things with 2 minutes to play in the second quarter from our first half between Frankfurt and Paris. This is the EFA. Lively crowd for the first ever European Football Alliance contest. Historic franchise in the Frankfurt Galaxy taking on the upstart Paris Musketeers. Frankfurt with a 32-yard field goal with 5:06 to play in the first quarter. They have a 3-0 lead. And Bastian Rappelt will be punting here. Paris will have an opportunity either draw even or take the lead before halftime. Austin Mitchell racing ahead, catches at the 50, and then he is leveled at the 45, maybe the 44-yard line. A return of 6 or 7 for the American wideout.
Yeah, this is a big drive for Paris, Kyle. They have a 2-for-1 opportunity here. They can put some points on the board here and then get the ball back coming out of half. It's funny. Frankfurt seems to have dominated this game so far, but Paris finds itself in go into halftime with the lead and come out of halftime and extend it. So, big drive here.
Really remarkable, certainly considering how Paris has played to this point. Edwards dropping back. Look to hoist, now moving, parallel to the 50, and he is pummeled. Planted off the surface and drilled to the turf. That's Mulumba, who is in on the stop. Laura Perez as well. And that'll stem any high-octane thoughts momentarily for this Paris Musketeers offense.
This Frankfurt Galaxy defensive front, when they get a chance to pin their ears back, they can really get after the quarterback.
How about the catch from Hassan Doso? Zach Edwards silences the Galaxy home crowd with a big bomb down the right sideline. That is the longest play from scrimmage for either side. And just like that, the Musketeers are able to shake off the sack. Edwards, the competitor that he is, steps up in the pocket and finds Doso down the right sideline.
They also need to make up for some of those mistakes he made earlier.
3 wideouts to the right side. Austin Mitchell alone to the left. Single back. Edwards. Snap. Throws it over the middle. Touchdown, Paris. Remy Bertolin with the first touchdown of the EFA season. And the Musketeers lead 6-3 late in the second quarter.
That was a great play by Edwards. Great play call by the offensive coordinator. It's almost like a triple option. He could have handed it off. He could have kept it. He could have thrown it. He was able to hold the defensive end with that with the fake to the running back, which gave the wide receiver enough time to get open.
Extra point, cash money, 7-3 Paris on top of Frankfurt. Took less than 2 minutes. What, a minute 27? For the Musketeers. 3 plays too, right, Terrence? You had the sack. Then you come up with the bomb to Hassan Doso. That was a 42-yard reception. And then an 8-yard touchdown reception from Remy Bertolin. The French veteran gives Paris a 7-3 advantage. He has.
Bertolin, because he's the one who should have had the touchdown on the throw that was called back for pass interference. He's just an active wide receiver. I like this guy a lot. But yeah, on that touchdown throw, Edwards did a great job of holding the defensive end with his play fake to the running back, which gave him just enough time to get that throw off.
Zach Edwards, in spite of some of the deficiencies and mistakes in scoring opportunities, still tremendous night so far in his EFA debuts. We see a little trickeration, a little toss back in the return game. Frankfurt brings it out close to the 25, but Edwards is 10 of 13 for 114 yards.
Yeah, started out a little rusty, took him a little time to get the timing and catch up to the speed of the game, but right now I feel like he's locked in and he's feeling the speed of the game. It's not too fast for him, and he's reacting. He's not sitting there having to think about what the next move is. It's just coming naturally.
And he's had to work through some rust in early moments, getting comfortable back there, but 100-plus yards in that first half, not too shabby as Garbers trying to take off, make something out of nothing. That'll likely be the final play of the first half as he is roped down in the backfield. Clock will stop with 10 seconds remaining.
Going to the half. They're look like they're trying to huddle up for another play. But if I was Frankfurt, they're going to take a knee.
There's an injury timeout by Paul Harris is charged by the second team timeout in the first half.
So that would make sense. Yanni Goodfell, injury timeout. Wouldn't have thought either team would have spent a timeout there. So Garber's likely just take a knee and bring this one to the locker room with 10 seconds remaining. 7-3 is our score. .32-yard field goal from Ryan Rimler with 5:06 to play in the first quarter. Gave Frankfurt a 3-0 lead. And then it was Remy Bertolini, an 8-yard touchdown reception from Zach Edwards with 33 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And that vaults Paris ahead at halftime by the score of 7-3. Zach Edwards, Magic Zach, starred 10-13, 114 yards, and that touchdown to Bertolini, who actually considered retiring in the offseason, but John Booker signed to come back as the OC to reunite with Magic Zach, convinced him to help come back, and he'd be more involved. Should have had 2 touchdowns, but a penalty wiped one off the board. 7-3 is our score after one half of play. Friday Night Lights from Frankfurt. It's the Musketeers 7 and the Galaxy 3.
What do you think about the first half? Sit up and we're going to get better. Don't worry. Okay. Don't worry. Thanks for having me here. No one is worrying. We're not quite kind of done. We're meeting them. And that's why I'm sorry. Guckt dann nochmal zur Seite zum Downhaker. Das geht dann genau über die Markierung runter. Das heißt, neues First Down. Und ich würde sagen, wir starten mal und sagen wir an der 5-Yard-Linie. Und der Karl macht den Holder. Wir fangen mal an der 5-Yard an. Und dann soll er nur noch entscheiden, ob wir einen vorgehen oder einen zurück. Genau, dann mit dem Ball nach hinten halten. Genau, du drückst 2-3 Schritte Anlauf. Oder von mir aus kannst du auch von der Endzone der anderen Seite angelaufen kommen. Und dann gibt es da den Start. Das bitte zu Anfang. Ich muss. Alles klar. Dann lass den Karl bitte ganz. Und dann geht's das denn. Gib neu. Die Hose mit festhalten. Ob es ein Trick ist oder um einfach nur zur Sicherheit. Ja. Oh, das war sehr souverän. So, who wants to do the next? Who wants to take it first? Nicole, mit rechts. Ja? Ich mach mit. Zack, au, fast. Aber trotzdem, Nicole, danke schön trotzdem fürs Mitspielen. Und jetzt haben wir Moritz. Entweder das wird dann das Ding hier schon geholt, oder es geht gleich nochmal 5 Yards zurück. Ja, Moritz auch 2-3 Schritte Anlauf. Und zack! Oh, da geht's ein Stück zurück. Dann gehen wir auf die 10-Yard-Linie, oder? Ja! Moritz ist motiviert. Lass den fängt wieder an. Ach stimmt, wir haben wieder Justin schießt mit links. Hält den Ball fest in der Hoffnung, dass er nicht getroffen wird. Aber ja, knapp, aber erfolgreich. So, Moment. Jetzt geht's für dich. Ja, war knapp, aber trotzdem hat es gepasst. Oh, Pumps war dahinter, aber leider nicht hoch genug. Und deshalb geht der Sieg an Justin. Herzlichen Glückwunsch und nochmal Dankeschön und euer Applaus an alle 3, die mit dabei waren. Und der Sieg geht an Justin. Wir haben nochmal heute eine ganz besondere Aktion. Die Galaxy hat eingeladen zu einer Blaulichtaktion und möchte Danke sagen an viele Einsatzkräfte, die heute mit ihren Familien da sind. Rund 500 Gäste sind da.
Ready for the start of the second half between Paris and Frankfurt in this inaugural EFA football game at PSD Bank Arena. With Terrence Newman, I'm Kyle Schasberger. Musketeers will be taking the opening kickoff as they pulled ahead with an 8-yard touchdown reception with 33 seconds remaining. Remy Bertolini, a touchdown reception from Magic Zach. Zach Edwards, 10-13, 114 yards in that first half of football. 32-yard field goal from Frankfurt's place kicker, and Ryan Rimmler got the scoring started as Austin Mitchell will take this out close to the 35-yard line, far sideline. Decent return for Paris as they operate now with a 7-3 lead, as close to a 2-for-1 situation as you can get at the close of that first half. And it was all set up by a big bomb too, Terrence. 42 yards, Edwards to Dasso before that Bertolini touchdown.
Yeah, Paris is starting the second half with some momentum. They ended the first half on a real heater. That last drive was the most successful drive of the game. Let's see if they can capitalize on that.
Paris operating right to left here in the early stages of the third quarter. Edwards with 4 wideouts, 3 to the left. Zips one over the right side of the 40-yard line to Mitchell, and he is smothered out of bounds into his own sideline. Short pickup for Mitchell. Again, all-time leading wide receiver out of southeastern Louisiana.
The Paris offensive line has really settled into this game. It was a little dicey there in the first quarter, but they've really started to handle the Galaxy defensive line there.
Edwards surveying on a 2nd and 5. Dangerous pass intercepted off the deflection. The Galaxy have another takeaway. It's their second of the ball game. Picked off by Dominique Mambo.
Yeah, Edwards
Tight
forced one
coverage.
there. It was tight. Not a bad throw, but it's still 2 guys in the area. It's a very, very, very tight window to try to fit it into. Not the way Paris wanted to start the second half.
And that could be very demoralizing for a Paris team that the scoreboard didn't really reflect how lopsided kind of the advantage was for Frankfurt, who dominated in many respects, but Paris hung with it. Guided by their defense. Zach Edwards got more comfortable, took what the defense gave him in the opening half, but now a deflection and interception. And Ethan Garbers and the Galaxy are back to work here early in the third quarter as a handoff straight ahead to Gerald Amel.
Yeah, Frankfurt, they should want to get back to the running game. They started out the game running the ball really well. And as you can tell on that play, I mean, look, Frankfurt Galaxy offensive linemen are pushing the Paris guys 5, 6, 7 yards down the field.
Already an adjustment, too, from the Galaxy after some soft coverage underneath. They forced a turnover. Amel with his 9th carry has the first down. Scissors his way close to the 25. As now the Galaxy picking up a fresh set of downs here early in the second half. They're on the move.
Yeah, they're on the move. They're letting their presence be known. They're on the line of scrimmage. 67 there. Nice block. The animal wanted to hold, but it was a clean block.
Marcos Duvrovic, one of that upgraded left side of the line for the Galaxy, as Garbers uncourts one in the right flat inside the 20, close to the 15. Catch is made by Tyler Foster.
Now this is exactly how Frankfurt wanted to start this second half. Like we were saying before, they actually dominated the first half, even though it didn't show on the scoreboard, and they've come out this second half firing on all cylinders.
Garbers was 6 of 12 for 44 yards in the first half. He was sacked 5 times. Zach Edwards 3 times. Now a shot taken to the left corner of the end zone. It is broken up Great coverage by Jamalcolm Liggins. Jack Del Rio said of Liggins for the Musketeers that he could play in the NFL. There he is, Agent Zero. Incredible talent, maybe the best corner in Europe.
Yeah, that was a good coverage by Zero. Garbers underthrew that ball a little bit. He needs to put a little more air underneath that, and he really needs to throw that ball towards the back pylon more. You know, get it up over the DB's shoulders to where only his guy can get it.
And that's a different kind of throw than what we've seen Garbers have to make at this point, right? The back shoulder fade, corner of the end zone. Here he is on a quick out to the right side to his big tight end, Botella Moreno.
Yeah, no, a lot of his passes.
Second reception.
Yeah, a lot of the passes so far with Garbers have been a lot of these quick outs, off of the play action. A lot of getting him out of the pocket, letting him use his legs. That was the first real drop back pocket. Just needs to put a little more finesse on that.
You control the game. You control the game.
Head coach Thomas Koshling of the Frankfurt Galaxy and OC Brandon Corbin trying to put a game plan together here. That nets a touchdown early in the third quarter. Garbers on a keeper, slashes his way close to the 13-yard line. Does he have it out for a first down on a fourth down carry? I believe he does. Flag in late.
There might have been a little extracurricular activities between one of the wide receivers and one of the DBs. I don't know if that's what they called, but
waiting on a call from Stanley Hameter, our lead referee. Nightfall starting to settle in. First Friday night American football game in Europe ever. It's meeting number 7 between Paris and Frankfurt. Coming at PSD Bank Arena, the inaugural game of the European Football Alliance.
The result of the play is a first down for the Galaxy. After the play was over, there were 2 fouls by both teams. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness by number 0 from Paris, and also personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 21 from Galaxy. These penalties are offset. First down.
yeah, I saw them at the top of the screen. They were going at it at the end of that play, and they were nowhere near the play. Just a couple players getting a little too exuberant.
7-3 the score after the offsetting penalties. 11:02 to play in the third quarter. Ethan Garbers and the Frankfurt Galaxy on the move inside the red zone, hunting for their first touchdown and a lead here on Friday night. Slant pattern, broke it off. Coverage again from Jamalcolm Liggins. 2 years in Frankfurt before coming to Paris. Another big-time stop for a dude that played his college football in North Dakota State.
That was a pretty good throw by Garbers, but excellent play by Liggins there. And, he is an impressive-looking defensive back. I get why Del Rio thinks he could be an NFL guy.
Strong, fast, physical, smart, paired up against the best wideout for the Galaxy in Brevin Easton. Here's his 2nd and 10, faking the handoff, dumped down to the tight end, left side, and he is stonewalled right at the first down or original line of scrimmage. Close to no gain, maybe one for Botella Moreno. 3rd and long coming up for the Galaxy.
That was another one of those quick outs. One of those plays. They have a lot of plays designed for Garbers to get the ball out of his hands quickly, easy reads.
How about Amir Kalani, the nickelback, able to shed that outside blocker and come in and initiate the first blow. Here's Garbers on 3rd and 8, stepping up in the pocket, rumbles right, now throws across his body, incomplete. He was looking for Tyler Foster. Lurking was Yanni Goodfell.
Yeah, he had his tight end running to the corner on the left there, but he missed him. He was flushed out of the pocket before he had a chance to notice them.
What do you think? Garber's provided a little bit more loft, a little bit more gravity under that football, maybe arched it a little bit higher. He could have got it over Goodfell. It's just a matter of Foster being able to pirouette his body. Instead, through a more sharp liner that was incomplete. So here's another field goal attempt on 4th and 8. It is right on the money as the Galaxy cut the deficit to 1 with 10:04 remaining. Ryan Remler with his second field goal. That one much more a chippy. Looks like Ropelt. Was it Ropelt who was out there kicking that one for Frankfurt?
Look, well.
No, Remler split the uprights. Ropelt out there holding. So Remler's got his second field goal. You're going to look at him. A thick kicker. Love that. On a big old number 1. Wearing a slender number as well, Terrence.
Oh, yeah. Well, the slender number makes you look slender.
Yeah,
we like a thick kicker,
do what you
though.
Can do. Yeah.
Yeah, like 64 there?
We got it.
60. That number is.
Yes. Yes. Remler had the 32-yard field goal with 5:06 remaining in the first quarter. That was a scoring drive of over 8 minutes for the Galaxy to lift the lid in the opening quarter. Touchdown of 8 yards to Remy Bertolini with 33 seconds remaining in the second quarter gave Paris the lead. Remler will send an end-over-end kick, taken at the 5 by Mitchell, racing to the far sideline, and he skedaddles out of bounds just past the 40. Another great return from Austin Mitchell.
I get why the Paris offensive coordinator wants to get Austin Mitchell involved in their offense more. He really is a dynamic player when the ball is in his hands. He's very quick. Just
officially a 29-yard field goal for Remler.
great crowd. Look at all these American football fans in Europe.
No question, celebratory night for the EFA as a first down carry is taken by Bufunda, plunging forward. Zach Edwards handling and digging out a low snap, too, in the process. Wrestled down by Jan Jesus Laura Perez, former Rain Fire player. Three minutes, 56 seconds on that scoring drive from Frankfurt. Paris operating with a 1-point lead. Second and 6. Edwards gives it off right side to Mitchell, and he is lassoed down at the 45. Tremendous lick provided by Luis Enchantre.
This Frankfurt defensive front is really fast sideline to sideline. I don't know if this is the type of defense you want to go east and west on. I think you want to stick on going north and south with these guys because they have some real athletes on the outside there. You're not going to beat them to the corner.
For those watching our stream, there is a French-only audio stream that is now live. Look for a link in the live chat. 3rd and 8 here. Edwards incomplete. The pass was really nowhere close.
Yeah, that looked to me, Kyle, like another miscommunication with the wide receiver. You see the wide receiver does a hook here. The way Edwards threw that ball, it looked like he expected the wide receiver to work back towards the outside, and the wide receiver just stayed there.
Yeah, Bertolini was picking up his head. He's already raced past the spot that Edwards was looking to loft the football. Fortunately, it wasn't a turnover. The Galaxy already have 2 of those. So a punt for the Musketeers. Just getting it away. Fair catch signal that it will bounce into the end zone. Ethan Garbers and this Frankfurt offense will go back to work. Brandon Corbin, the offensive coordinator, previously the OC and DC, or OC and quarterbacks coach rather, in NAIA Avila University. Was a senior offensive analyst for McNeese from 2020 to 2022, which is in Louisiana. Got a couple Louisiana ties in this contest. Mitchell on the other side, wide receiver. Impressive amount of offense has been installed for this Galaxy team with new quarterback Ethan Garbers. Handoff, slashing forward is a Meln for 1 or 2.
Frankfurt has definitely come out in the second half wanting to establish a run again. If they can, that should open up the passing game for Ethan Garbers down the field.
It's a pro-style offense, under center, shotgun. They'll run some 11 personnel. Combination of Jack Del Rio and OC Brandon Corbin. Or Jack Del Rio, rather, the Paris head coach, as Garber throws one that is nearly picked off in and out of the hands of Kevin Puerto Diaz. That was kind of a disjointed play.
That ball's almost
played a little planko.
That ball's almost picked off twice.
Yeah.
Inaccurate throw to begin with, and then tipped up in the air. Yeah, Ethan's got to know he can't make that throw. There's 3 white jerseys around his receiver.
That Jack Del Rio defense for the Paris Musketeers. Again, we talked about Del Rio early on in the broadcast, Terrence, but he was the architect of that Ravens defense. He tutored Ray Lewis in that Ravens D to a Super Bowl 35 victory over the Giants before he became a head coach of the NFL. Garbers launching one down the far sideline, complete. Paul Cavania Lenhart.
Yeah, Jack was also the middle linebacker for a lot of really good Minnesota Vikings teams, so he's used to making play calls and scheming up defenses and getting players in the right position.
Garbers and Cavania Lenhart. This Galaxy offense able to find the best of Del Rio and that Musketeers defensive unit. Strong connection here as Garbers will go play action. Zips one over the middle, then is broken up. Yanni Godfell, tall, rangy, confident safety for the Musketeers D. Returned to France from the Canadian Football League. Able to break up a pass.
Yeah, that's another danger by Ethan. If he's going to be going across the middle like that, he's going to have to put a little more loft on the ball, have it drop in so he can get it up over the linebackers and the safeties.
Seen a tremendous mix of run and pass here from the Galaxy in the second half. Another handoff to Meln. And he is crunched to the deck after a short carry.
I mean, if I'm Frankfurt, I'm trying to put the ball down their throats right now. I mean, the offensive line has really been dominating the line of scrimmage. I would try to wear out this Paris defense. And just let your big guys up front just put their weight on them and push them around, and that'll open up the passing lanes for Garber.
Ethan going to take off, slicing and dicing. Long run for Garbers as he takes it inside the 30 of Paris. Off schedule, off script, and Garbers is able to torch the Musketeers' defensive pursuit.
Yeah, we were saying before, he really is a solid all-around athlete, and he can make dangerous plays with his legs. I mean, this move right here is whoop, left that DB with a broken ankle.
30-some yards in a cloud of dust. Now Garber's launching towards the right corner. Too tall, overthrown. Brevin Easton starting to cut up the center of the field. Garber's, after the 2025 NFL draft, spent some time with the Carolina Panthers. He went undrafted. Originally signed with Madrid, but Madrid not competing. Then Garber's put his name to the dotted line for the Frankfurt Galaxy to play under Thomas Koschling. Coach K, legendary head coach for this Frankfurt organization. 2nd and 10 coming up, 5:32 to play in the third quarter. Garber's unloads left side quickly. Pass is caught by Easton, who joined midway through last year on this Frankfurt team. Strong finish, led in yards per game.
Now, right now, Ethan needs to make sure he doesn't force anything. He's had a few throws on this drive where he's thrown into double coverage. You're doing a good job moving the ball on the ground, short passes. Just make sure you don't turn over the ball and you get some points out of the strip.
And Galaxy still searching for a first touchdown, and now another drop as Easton can't haul it in. Pass was a little difficult to bring down, wouldn't you say, Terrence?
Yeah, that ball might have came out a little hot and a little bit behind him, but this is professional football. That's a ball you got to catch.
I think Easton would be the first to admit as so as he saunters back to the sideline. Another field goal opportunity for Ryan Rimler, who's been a Musketeer killer with the right leg. The stocky place kicker, veteran, will come up short. Might have been deflected.
Yeah, I believe that was blocked.
So a palm put on it by Baptiste Pollier, I think. If it was 91, that's Pollier, CFL guy. Now playing for the EFA Musketeers. Jack Lowe, you're getting a look at. Look at the El Animal, who's having some difficulty getting off the field. He had a monster first half.
Yeah, they got a great push there off the left side of their defensive front there for Paris.
Yeah, left to middle end. So a huge stand by the Musketeers. Rimler had a 29-yard field goal earlier in the quarter after a near 4-minute drive. Magic Zach and the Musketeers going back to work. Tackle made on Bofunda.
This could be a big momentum swing if Paris can sustain a drive here and put some points on the board.
Nice job by the backer on the outside side for Frankfurt. Sebastian Gaultier came out of retirement last year. Really worked to be in great shape. After a 3-yard gain from Bofunda, it's 2nd and 7. Edwards 3 wideouts to the right side. Fakes the handoff, scrambling to his right. Will tuck it and run himself, and he gets the first down out of bounds at the 41. He's trying to point exactly where he went out of bounds, Terrence. I'm not sure. He knew immediately there was nothing open, and he saw real estate to his right side.
Looks like he went out of bounds right in front of right past the first yard marker. Yeah, the Frankfurt defense they've been solid on both fronts, on the front end and on the back end. They're getting to the quarterback, but they're also doing a great job in coverage.
3rd and 1. Bufunda bounces off one tackler and is able to twist forward for the first down. So the Musketeers were a yard shy. It looked like Edwards had gotten it. Again, that could be a sign again of not playing for a season. But it doesn't come back to bite the Musketeers as they give it to their big and strong back in Bufunda for the first down. Inside of 3.5 minutes, 3rd quarter. Paris and Frankfurt, game 1 of this inaugural EFA season. Edwards, pressure in his face, dangerous pass, nearly into the belly of Mark Anthony Hoare, big number 90 out of that nose tackle position, a legend of sorts in Frankfurt. Pressure coming on the face of Zach Edwards. Dominic Mambo was there.
Yeah, that was just a great defensive call by the Frankfurt Galaxy coordinator. Bringing the linebacker off the edge there. Edwards had no time. As soon as he dropped back,
Number 1.
he had a Galaxy player in his face.
It's a loss of down and a 10 yards from the previous spot.
Is that intentional grounding? Lost it down.
I believe.
I didn't hear the beginning of the call.
I didn't hear the beginning either, but yeah, it sounds like they're calling it intentional grounding.
That's a tough call against Magic Zach. He had pressure on his face.
He had a
Mambo
guy
was
in his
steamrolling, getting downhill.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell if there was anybody in the area, but you could also argue that getting hit might have altered his throw. But yeah, right now Paris needs to get their composure back. They're a little rattled.
2nd and 10. Edwards dials up a deep ball, far sideline, and out of the reach of Austin Mitchell. 3rd and 20 coming up. Mitchell at Southeastern Louisiana, all-time leading receiver, 222 career receptions, more than 3,200 receiving yards, 30 receiving touchdowns. When he graduated, ranked 1st in school history in receptions, receiving yards, and tied for 1st in touchdown catches, among the top wideouts in Southland Conference history. See if Edwards goes back to the well, looking for his number 1 target on a 3rd and 20. He's in the right slot, faking the handoff. Now a dump down screen pass, and it's sniffed out immediately. Say hello to Luisa Chantre, who blows that up. And Paris will be forced to punt.
Oh, the Galaxy defense played that perfectly.
I
22.
understand, Terrence. On 3rd and 20, you go play action screen.
You know, I think they're thinking that they can catch the Galaxy worried about a deep pass, but it also tells me that they're not too confident in their deep game, and they really just didn't want to make a mistake there. They were really just trying to set themselves up to punt.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you're trying to pull a fast one in some way. Fortunate to get that
You're
off.
hoping, yeah, they're hoping they can catch the Galaxy off guard, and then if you're lucky, you can, catch the ball and have some room to run, and then maybe your running back can make some plays with his legs. And if he doesn't, then you're in better position to punt the ball on 4th down. But what I took away from that was that they didn't want to force the issue to try to get a 1st down downfield. They were more afraid of the turnover.
Yanni Goldfeld, who plays safety, also punts. Took a low snap, was fortunate to get it away. Now here's Ethan Garbers going off script as he takes it into Frankfurt Galaxy, or Paris Musketeer territory, rather, with 1:59 to play in the 3rd quarter. There you're seeing the dual threat capability from Garbers again.
He has really had a great game with his legs. solid game with his arm, but like impressive game with his legs. He is a good all-around athlete.
Garber's out of the gun with Elmen and his left hip. First and 10, shotgun snap. Flings one over the middle to his tight end, Botella Moreno. And he spins forward for another first down for the Galaxy.
You know, with the third quarter winding down, and the defenses on both teams have really started to catch their stride. This is an important drive for the Galaxy because we're getting to the point of the game where there's only so many drives left. You want to make everyone count.
Garber's looking left, now rumbling forward, lunges head first. A couple of yards shy of that first down marker. Great processing from Garber's here on this drive. Quick decisions in the passing game, also knowing when to take off and utilize his feet. A second and short coming up for the Galaxy. Three wideouts, one tight end set. The back Elmen at his right hip. Fakes the stick in the belly and then just spikes it at the feet of Botella Moreno with pressure barreling down on Garbers on 2nd and 2.
That was a smart play by Garbers there. The pressure is on him. You don't want to take the sack in that situation. You also don't want to force a bad throw and get a turnover. It's 2nd down, not 3rd down, so you have another down to live. Yeah, good decision. Safe decision.
Charged up environment at PSD Bank Arena. Night one in the EFA. Storied franchise in the Frankfurt Galaxy. Point behind the Paris Musketeers. A defensive tussle as Garbers will launch down the right sideline. And too long for his intended wide receiver, Tyler Foster.
There might have been a little confusion on that. You had two Frankfurt receivers in the same area running the same route. One of them ran the wrong route. I got a feeling number 8 there was not supposed to run the fade.
Yeah, Foster was on the furthest part of the sideline. Cavadia Lenhart was also racing more in the slot, each in the vicinity. And Garbers might have just got the Musketeers to jump. A hard count from Garbers.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 4. 5-yard penalty results in the first down.
That's on Toby Naylor, linebacker. 25-year-old from Great Britain, an import on this Paris team. One thing I've seen, Terrence, is the ability of this offensive line, though, for Frankfurt, too, to belly up. They allowed 5 sacks on Garbers in the first half, none here in the third quarter. Garbers slings one, close to the 10. First down connection made with Foster.
Yeah, I've been impressed with the Frankfurt offensive line, particularly in the run game. They've done a great job opening up holes in the run game. But they're gelling in the pass blocking too.
It's the end of the third quarter at PSD Bank Arena. What a defensive slugfest we have had. Frankfurt is knocking on the door, trying to pull ahead of Paris. We head to the fourth quarter in our first ever EFA showdown. Friday Night Lights. This is the European Football Alliance.
der Sideline noch unsere T-Shirt-Kanone bereitstehen. Von Internet X und wir sind ganz außen.
Start of the fourth quarter, Paris 7, Frankfurt 6. With Terrence Newman, I'm Kyle Schasberger. Thank you all for joining us for this inaugural European Football Alliance contest. Ethan Garbers, quarterback for the Galaxy, former UCLA quarterback. At the controls for Frankfurt. They're on the precipice of a touchdown here. Three wideouts to the right side. Snap to Garbers. Starts to saunter forward. Now angles out to his right. Spins away. He does not. Clothesline taken down by Yanni Goodfell. Garbers ran out of options there and took the sack. Wisely was able to hang on to that football, though. That was a little dangerous from Garbers.
That was a little dangerous. I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see him just use his legs on that. He's had a good game running the ball. As soon as you don't see it open, just try to make some plays with your legs. And if anything, throw it away before you take a sack and take a loss, because this is an important drive here. Points are becoming harder to get, and this game is getting closer to the end. So.
2nd and 13, Garbers tucking, now firing back in the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Paul Cavaglia-Lenhart. And the Galaxy have their first touchdown of the EFA season, and they lead Paris. It is 13-7 early in the fourth quarter.
Now, that was just a great job in Garbers to keep his eyes downfield as he was moving in the pocket. As he rolls out, he sees his receiver still working in the back of the end zone to get open for him. Great job by the offensive lines, too, holding their blocks. Great on all levels by the Frankfurt Galaxy on that play.
Ethan Garbers has his first EFA touchdown. 12-7 currently the score with the extra point. Not trying to put the cart before the horse, but the PAT will make it 13-7. You wonder if Frankfurt might decide to go for two, especially considering how this game has panned out defensively to this point, and points have been at a premium. We'll see what Thomas Koschling and the Galaxy decide to do.
Yeah, it's a decision. Me personally, I would probably kick the extra point. It's still a little early in the game. There's still 14 minutes left to go. You don't want to put yourself in a position where 2 field goals could lose you this game.
So we'll see as timeout has been called. Garbers threw for 32 touchdowns in college, 16 his final year in Westwood, playing for the UCLA Bruins. Offense is currently huddled up.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go for 2. Which, I mean, I understand that call too, but like I said, it's 14 minutes left to go. There's still a lot of time left.
Garbers under center, now rolls out. Back line to the end zone. Is it caught? Tyler Foster has it.
Yeah, I think he was out of bounds,
the 2-point try is good.
No, I believe he was pushed out of bounds.
Okay, flag on the play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 43. The penalty is a half distance to the goal. Repeating try.
Now a lifeline for the Galaxy.
Yeah, that is a huge lifeline for them.
That is bang bang.
Yeah,
Jack Lowe called for. Did kind of launch himself at Garbers. So now Garbers will keep it himself, following his offensive line over the top. Looks like he has it. Waiting on the signal. Garbers thinks he has the 2-point try. Body's being peeled away. Still no official word.
Going back to that roughing the passer call.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was short to goal line. Therefore, the try is unsuccessful.
Wow. Garbers comes up short. 12.
I was going to say, going back to that roughing the passer, it looked like he led with his head because the timing of that play didn't look like he hit him late. But
yeah, I think
this one,
just sort of
you can't himself. You can't see where the ball is in Garber's hands, so it's hard to tell. His helmet breaks the plane.
His helmet
breaks the plane. It looks like his, it looks like his shoulder might have, but you can't really tell where the ball is in relation to his body. At least not from that angle.
Koshling will drop the red challenge flag. NFL rules here in the EFA includes 2 red challenge flags for each team. We'll see if there's an angle that can overturn. Right, Terrence? It always comes down to, is there conclusive evidence to make the overturn? You'd love to rule it just based on where Garber's head is from a Frankfurt perspective, if you're a Galaxy fan.
Yeah, but that's not the rule of the game.
Can you get a camera directly level with the goal line and not the angle, or at least so much up for interpretation?
Yeah, because the angle they just showed, Garber's body was in between the ball and the camera. It really is impossible to tell where it is.
You get a good look at the picture-in-picture there as a couple of our officials are over there, led by our lead referee, Stanley Hammeter. They have yet to press pause on the feed, though. We'll get a look at that replay also. You would think just
now from that angle it looks like
that he's.
When they slow it down, it looks like he does get over and then gets brought back.
Looks like a quick decision has been rendered. We'll hear from Stanley Hammeter.
After the replay, the try was successful. There are 2 points for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Frankfurt is not charged by their second team timeout.
And there you go, 14-7 is the score. The Galaxy here at home lead Paris now. They're up by a touchdown, 14-7 after the additional look. And Terrence, what the officials were looking at and what you were seeing watching along with our broadcast here tonight, it's the exact same thing. So what we were seeing was what the officials were seeing, and it was enough. In spite of the angle, I think it was just as much of the hat of Garbers that was over the line, and then he kind of got smothered backwards after initially breaking the plane.
And it's a great dramatic delivery of the touchdown call there, but really milked it.
Yeah, Stanley Hammeter, he's a pro. He's in mid-season. Yeah, he is in mid-season form.
He knows how to play up to the home crowd.
He understands the stakes here between Frankfurt and Paris.
Yeah, no, that team is huge. It really is, because Paris has been struggling on offense. And there's only so many, like I said, there's only so many more possessions left in this game. So Paris is to get some points here, even if it's just a field goal.
Mitchell will field a bouncing kick inside the 5, weaves his way across the 20, and then he's hammered down. Mitchell not able to find as much success in the return game as he had. That was a drive for the Galaxy, ending with a 13-yard touchdown reception to Paul Cavadia-Lenhart. First EFA touchdown for Ethan Garbers. Took about 3 minutes, started at the 2:09 mark of the third quarter. With 14:02 to play in the contest, it's the Galaxy ahead 14-7. Now Magic Zach back to work for this Musketeers offense. He's able to wiggle free for about 2 yards.
Yeah, the pass coverage was very solid on the back end there by Frankfurt. Edwards really had nowhere to go.
One game tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Prague and Nordic, Storm and Lions, then Munich Ravens, Raiders Tyrol, Sunday at 4. So we see an injury. Then Malumba being laid down, one of the offensive linemen also being worked on for Paris. That's Lake Vanti, strongest player, nicknamed Big Mike.
Yeah, first game of the year. Looks a little warm out there. Probably some cramping going on.
That was my thought, possibly some cramping. First real game action. It's the inaugural contest, season opener for both sides. Everyone competing, all 6 teams in the EFA this weekend. 10-game schedule. Round robin, you'll play each team twice. 4 teams will advance to the playoffs before the inaugural championship game in August. Big Mike, the offensive lineman for the Musketeers, I would imagine is going to exit play for at least a couple of plays. He was going to play for another team, Big Mike. They couldn't find pads big enough. Musketeers had said, we'll find you some pads. Nickname come. You've seen the movie The Blind Side, right, Terrence?
Oh, yeah.
Read
I don't miss a Sandra Bullock movie.
No, I don't either. No one should.
No, you shouldn't.
It's one of those movies I could say I did read the book as well. 2nd and 9, Zach Edwards bursting forward. Gets 4. 3rd and manageable coming up for Paris. Close to 2 minutes gone by in this final quarter.
This is an important drive for Paris to just try to get some rhythm back in their offense. They started to catch a little bit of a stride at the end of the first half. They struggled to recapture that coming into the second half, and going into the fourth quarter, they need to see if they can get a little bit of that magic.
3rd and 4, shotgun snap to Edwards. Hoist right, now runs himself, and he's able to fall ahead for a first down, Musketeers. That's some tough yardage there for Magic Zach as he pulls one out of the hat and extends the drive for Paris.
That was just pure effort and determination on that play, Kyle. I mean, it's a pass play. He drops back. Frankfurt's bringing the blitz. They don't even disguise it, and pulls it down and gets the tough yards. Great play by Edwards.
Edwards with 3 wideouts left side will hand it off. A few yards for Bofunda. Edwards with the Barcelona Dragons in 2021. He exploded onto the scene as the ELF's breakout star. 2,200 passing yards, 21 TDs, averaged 275 passing yards per game. Him the first QB in ELF history to surpass 2,000 yards. He's over 12,000 for his career at 114 yards through the air in the first half. 2nd and 6. Fakes the handoff left side. Now angling towards the near sideline. First down and more as he gets to midfield.
Once again, great play. Frankfurt's defense on the back end was all over all the wide receivers. The Paris receivers have a really tough time getting open, especially in the second half. But Edwards did a good job, didn't force it, took what the defense gave him, and still picked up the first down with his legs.
Musketeers scored their touchdown with 33 seconds left in the first half. They're down by 7. Another handoff. Surging ahead, climbing the ladder. And tunneling across the hash marks is Nicholas Kondar.
You can tell, Cal, as we're getting later in this game, the first game fatigue is starting to kick in, you know. You try to condition, you try to get in the best shape you can, but running wind sprints is not the same as the actual fatigue you get from playing a game. And you can tell, fourth quarter, starting to wear on them. Legs are getting heavy.
Clock continuing to wind. Gut check time here in the fourth quarter. Edwards running towards the far sideline. He's able to get, I believe, to that first down marker before dancing out of bounds.
Really impressed with Edwards on this drive. He's not forcing anything. He's letting what the defense is giving him. Frankfurt's playing great defense. You know, the pass coverage has been really solid. If I'm the Frankfurt defensive coordinator, I'm probably thinking about keeping a linebacker in to spy on Edwards at this point because he's getting too many yards with his legs right now.
The result of the play is the first down.
First down, you can see the extra paraphernalia, the flag that was thrown against Frankfurt. Clock momentarily stopped at 10:03. This drive started at the 14:02 mark for Paris. That pressure-filled 3-4 defense of Frankfurt is really forcing Paris to earn it. Nothing big, keeping everything in front of them. But Paris is doing a fabulous job. Another handoff, refusing to go down. Those yards after contact, a plenty for Bufunda. Several first downs earned by Paris. They drive close to 5 minutes now in totality. Musketeers trailed in this game 6-0. Pair of field goals. 32-yarder, along with a 29-yarder from Ryan Rimler. Another handoff and blasting forward off the left side of the line is Bofunda. It's an offensive line, Terrence, that has improved mightily for Paris. Group that once had many imports, they've developed into a talented bunch, focusing on homegrown talent more often than they had in the past.
Yeah, they've improved just in this game alone. That's a task because I honestly believe that the Frankfurt defensive line and defensive front has been the most solid unit of any unit on this field today.
Critical third down. Edwards veering to his right. Throws one deep. Caught. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Hassan Dasso. He procures the pass, and the Musketeers have found pay dirt. They're an extra point away from tying this game.
That was a great scramble by Edwards, making something happen with his legs, but keeping his eyes downfield. Also, great job also by not giving up on the play, making sure that he was still fighting to get open. It looked like the Frankfurt Galaxy player, defensive back, got a little lost and let Doso get behind him. I think Edwards scrambling might have thrown him off, and he might have crept up a little bit, which might have given Edwards just enough of an opening to get that throw off.
We do have Laundry on the field, a flag, Terrence, so we'll see if the touchdown holds. Right now the scoreboard reflects still 14-7 Frankfurt with 8:25 to play in the fourth quarter.
I think we're going to get a taunting call or
long conversation.
It looked like there was a lot of talking after the touchdown. Doso was doing a lot of talking to the defensive back, and it was around that time when the Laundry go up. I don't know if there's any other infractions on the play, but
could be a lineman downfield also.
The ruling on the field was touchdown. However, there are 2 fouls on the play. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct on Paris number 8. That penalty is declined. Ineligible man downfield by the offense. Number 67, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeating, they're down.
That's a killer. Touchdown taken off the board. What's the number? 67?
Yeah. Yeah, that is a momentum killer. Edwards made such a great play on that touchdown throw. Just staying alive with his legs and then finding the receiver downfield. Doso, even though it didn't end up not hurting them, Doso's got to do a better job with the unsportsmanlike. I mean, it was just a silly taunting penalty. You know, you scored the touchdown. Go back to your sideline.
Also had dropped several balls today, too. That was a big-time catch, though, as he rose to the occasion. You can see how close his left shoe was to the out-of-bounds line in the end zone.
The ruling on the field stands. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
14-7 the score, 8:25 mark of the fourth quarter. And an eligible man downfield, one of the linemen. That's that gunslinger mentality, too, of Edwards. Magic Zach can play with. He kind of hurled that and left that up to his receiver to make a play. And you're right, Terrence, the defender for Frankfurt just kind of left a little early, was lost some. Finn Schwarzkopf, true homegrown 22-year-old kid, just his second year in Euroball.
The Paris needs
no
composure back right here.
3rd and 10. Edwards with 5 wide receivers in the pocket. Now squirming to his right, wrapped up, still on his feet, and then finally thrown to the deck. He attempted to get rid of the football as he was sitting on the linebacker Dominique Mambo for Frankfurt, just so he didn't take a sack. I think he's going to be ruled down anyway. Only saved a couple of yards. He put himself on skates there, slipping on the natural surface. Mark Anthony Hoare finally made the tackle around the legs.
Like I said, the first defensive line, I think, has been the most impressive unit I've seen on this field today. And they have put consistent pressure on Edwards all game.
Yanni Gudefeld will come on to punt. Safety for Paris. Also handles the punting duties.
Paris, you need to start worrying about the clock here.
Before the foul, there was a timeout by Frankfurt Galaxy. It's their second team timeout in the second half.
Now, I don't understand why Frankfurt would want to call a timeout here. You would think they would want to let the clock keep running. But as I was saying,
Edwards with that ineligible man downfield, Terrence, I just seen an image. That lineman was nearly 10 yards downfield, so that was an easy call for the officials, and that comes back really as a painstaking mistake for the Musketeers.
Well, you know, it's really tough for the offensive lineman when you're in that position. When you got a quarterback who got good legs, who can scramble, once you see him start to move out the pocket, you know, you just want to get downfield and make a block for him because you think he's going downfield.
Goodfell's punt takes a nice check inside the 5, but pinballs into the end zone, narrowly saved by Amir Kalani. And the Galaxy will bring it out. Ethan Garbers and Frankfurt with a touchdown lead, 8:04 to play in the fourth quarter.
Now, this is crunch time for Paris' defense. You imagine at this point of the game, this stage of the game, Paris can probably only count on maybe 2 more possessions. So the Musketeers defense here, they really need to hold. They can't allow really any points, but nothing more than a field goal.
Garbers will hand it off to his tailback. Elmen might have one. If you're Frankfurt,
now for
Terrence,
Frankfurt,
it's all about chewing up as much time as possible, right?
I was just about to say that, Kyle. For Frankfurt, you want to lean on those big offensive linemen there. They've done a pretty good job most of this game. And yeah, you're just going to keep this ball on the ground. See if you can open up some holes and get into a short third down.
Oh, Garbers loses the football out of the shotgun snap. And the Musketeers fall on it. A self-inflicted wound by Ethan Garbers. Difficulty with the snap, and it's picked up by Jack Lowe and Paris. Excellent field position. Oh, a doomsday scenario for the Galaxy.
You got 3 things wrong on that play, Kyle. First, it starts off with the play call. You should have been running the ball on this. I don't know why you would have been dropping back to pass. Second, Ethan's got to do a better job of securing the ball, especially at this point in the game. And then third, if you're the big offensive lineman there, that ball's right there by your feet, you can't bend over and try to pick that thing up. Okay? We don't need you to try to pick it up and run and get some yards. You need to get your butt on the ground and over that ball.
Edwards lofting too far for Mitchell. 2nd and 10 coming up. How about the new life for the Musketeers? Thought they had potentially a game-tying touchdown with an extra point taken off the board because of an illegal man downfield. Ended up punting. They were sort of in no man's land. Could have offered maybe to go for it on 4th down. Played the percentages, flipped the field, and it came back in their favor. As, the Galaxy decided to throw on 2nd down. Garbers maybe a little too much popcorn as it slipped out of his hands as he patted it before firing to the right side. Musketeers with their 2nd play following the turnover. Edwards over the middle, intercepted by Frankfurt. Picked off. Karamoku still running at the 30 to the 40, far sideline midfield. He may go. 20, 10, touchdown, pick 6, Frankfurt.
Kyle, I feel like the momentum has shifted about 5 times in the last minute of this game.
Solomon Karamoku. That's Mason Chambers, beg your pardon. Chambers with the interception for Frankfurt as he takes it to the house, the safety for the Galaxy. A game changer and backbreaker against Paris. As Chambers takes it all the way in. 20-7 is the score. Rimler is on for the PAT. Chambers played his college ball at Iowa State. He's an All-American and Incarnate Word. Now the PAT is blocked. Rimler can't get the extra point. 20-7 is the score with 6:53 to play in the fourth quarter.
Look, Frankfurt's been playing great defense all game long. They finally got a play from the one of their defensive backs. Paris and Edwards, he needs to know the situation a little better. He needs to know that in certain times of the game, you can't turn the ball over, you can't force it. I mean, that was honestly the worst case scenario for them. They could have lived with just a field goal off that drive, but they couldn't have. A turnover they couldn't live with, and then a turnover that led to points is just a real dagger.
A 3-1 turnover margin, too, favoring the Galaxy. +2 in that department. Garbers had just committed the Galaxy's first turnover, fumbling on a pass attempt deep inside his own territory. Paris looked to be in business. And on the second play, Edwards makes the crucial mistake. Rimler's kick fielded on a bounce by Paris. So is running across the 35 to the 38. French veteran, 2 years at Frankfurt.
So if you're Paris
Mason
now,
Chambers.
you are going into your 2-minute offense because you need to get 2 scores here in 6 minutes, and you probably only get 2 possessions. So you're going to need a score on every possession. And if you're the Frankfurt defense, you're loving this because you know that they're in this mode. You know that they're trying to make big plays. So if you're one of those big defensive linemen, you can just pin your ears back and go get the quarterback.
Edwards taking a shot downfield, finds a receiver in Tekadam, and he's wrapped up inside the 30. So quick, explosive from Edwards to his wideout in Hugo. And that's a good sign, right, Terrence? At least not to be discouraged following the big playmaking ability on the defensive end for the Galaxy to come right back and strike for a massive chunk of yards.
Oh, yeah. That's a great sign. To get a play like that, get your confidence back. Also, it was quick. You know, because right now, like I said, the clock is a factor at this point in the game. So not only do you need big plays, you need big plays that are going to hit quick.
Edwards rolling to his left, running out of time, just throws one away towards the far sideline. Dasso was in the vicinity. Good job by Edwards not to take a sack, just get rid of it. Paris does need to score, as you've indicated, Terrence. Time not on the side of Paris in this season.
And the Paris wide receivers, when they see their quarterback, when they see Edwards scrambling, that need to really work hard to break off their routes and make sure they get to a place where Edwards can see them and reach them with the throw. then it becomes, street yard football at that point.
Edwards sitting in the pocket. Magic sack. Uncorks over the middle. Passes caught. Is it a touchdown? Takadam is there. It is. Edwards at Takadam, 4-6. And it's 20-13.
That drive was the best case scenario for Paris. It honestly was. It could not have worked out any better. Couple of big plays, couple of quick strikes. You were able to get a touchdown on the board, and you were able to do it without a lot of time coming off the clock.
PAT attempt sails through the uprights. Dean Faithful. God save the Dean. The Brit pulls the Musketeers to within 6 with 5:43 to play in this contest. That interception.
Now that extra point is going to
Chambers.
loom large.
Yeah, no question. That play from scrimmage from Edwards, the one that was picked off by Chambers, that was a 2nd and 10 from the 10. So a 90-yard interception return. A few more yards even on top of that, considering where he caught it and took it back through traffic, the length to give the Galaxy a 20-7 lead. And then Paris quickly striking back. Takadam over the middle. Physical catch into the end zone. And we're not in the way this game has been played defensively. I mean, you feel good, especially with Jack Del Rio at the controls, right, Terrence? And your Paris defense can come up with one more key stop, and maybe the young Ethan Garbers is a little rattled following the last turnover that he had committed, where he could wreak some havoc, and defense can provide the offense one last shot.
Yeah. This is actually kind of a sticky situation for the Frankfurt offense because you are coming off of what was a really, really bad turnover, and you want to play conservative here, but also you want to move the ball and get some first downs and keep this clock going. So they got to be able to find that balance of being aggressive enough to still want to get a couple of first downs here and put this game away, but also not put the ball in any danger. And yeah, if you're Paris, you don't need to force anything. You got enough time on the clock. You can play some good defense, force a punt. You can get your offense the ball back with plenty of time. But you also know you got a quarterback that's probably a little rattled coming off his last drive. So this might be a time where maybe Jack might want to dial up a blitz or stunt he hasn't called yet.
Garbers will spike one down at the feet of his tight end on first down. That touchdown reception to Hugo Takadam of 28 yards for Paris. Cuts the deficit to 6. And it sort of feels like the game last season when Paris had that epic fourth quarter comeback that ended up falling just short as the Galaxy got a field goal with 19 seconds remaining from Rimler, but Paris stormed back with 24 unanswered points in the fourth quarter alone. Garbers shoots one over the middle that is knocked down over the line. Third down coming up for Frankfurt, and this is right where Paris wants to be.
Now, the last two plays, Paris kind of gave a look like they might bring some pressure, but then backed off at the end. I'm very curious to see if they bring any extra pressure here or if they drop everyone back into coverage and try to force Garbers into a bad throw.
7 in the box on this 3rd and 10. 3 wideouts to the right side. Garbers with a tailback at his left hip and movement prior to the snap.
Vorne auf den Stehplätzen wird die Welle nochmal gestartet.
Everybody but the center. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Love that. Everybody but the center.
We made for that shit. We fucking made for that shit.
20-14 the score. Again, last year, Henderson for Paris. Quarterback dramatic 2-point conversion. Austin Mitchell gave him a shocking 27-26 lead. And then McKay for Frankfurt scrambled 27 yards, moving to field goal range. There was a late hit penalty on Karamoku that pushed the Galaxy even closer, and Rimler had the game-winning field goal 29-27. Garbers on third down, takes a shot deep, and he finds his man, Cavadia Lenhart. Hardy with a 13-yard touchdown reception for a 14-7 lead early in the fourth quarter. A gargantuan third down conversion.
That was a great throw by Garber there, especially given the moment of the situation. Solid throw where only his guy could get it. Great execution by Frankfurt all around.
Pass interference. Offense number 881. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeating third down. Also, timeout on the field for the injured player.
Well, that's not what you want if you're Frankfurt. Looked like you had the big pass play for a first down. Instead, another self-inflicted wound by the Galaxy. Musketeers will certainly take that. You see Thomas Koshling pacing nervously on that sideline for the Galaxy. Ball placed inside the 15. Frankfurt side of the field. High snap from Garbers. Tucks it into the belly of his running back. And DeMelm will just take what he can get. DeMelm, the feature back for the Galaxy all evening. Worked hard in the offseason to earn this starting role.
Now this is a big special teams play here. Frankfurt needs to make sure they get this punt off.
Field, offense. 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Another penalty against Frankfurt. Too many men on the field. You're not trying to do anything intentional to create more space. Now you're just allowing more opportunity for Paris here on a return. But yeah, the pressure, Terrence, to your point. I mean, you've got to have a clean special teams operation.
Yeah.
From the snap to the punter, obviously the protection, be able to get the kick away.
Look, the closer you are to the end zone, the harder it is to get punts off.
Ashton Roppel handles the snap. End over end and low. Takes a Paris bounce. Close to the 41-yard line. Holy shnikes. Musketeers are in business after a short kick that also tumbled in favor of Paris with 4:33 to go. Musketeers trail by 6. They have the football. And yeah, not to belabor the point, but that missed extra point certainly looming large, as you've indicated, Terrence.
Honestly, I think Paris finds himself in a great position. If you had told me when that interception was returned for a touchdown that they would find themselves with the ball with 4 minutes left to go with a chance to score a go-ahead touchdown, I think they would definitely take that in that moment. So
Edwards canvassing, finds a man inside the 20, out of bounds near sideline. Completed to Austin Mitchell. There goes that tandem again. Edwards to Mitchell. That is an 11th completion in 19 attempts. Edwards is nearing 200 yards through the air with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception.
And Edwards' movement in the pocket is really, really starting to wear on the Frankfurt defense. It's so hard for these DBs to keep up with these wide receivers for 4, 5, 6, 7 second routes as he creates more time.
Edwards a handoff, knifing ahead. Bufunda wrangled down inside the 10. You can take all the time you want here if you're Paris.
Yeah, if you're Paris right now, clock's your friend. Let it run. You want to score. You have to score, but you also, if you can, you want to score with as little time on the clock as possible.
3:20 clock winding, final quarter. Paris looking for the equalizer. Edwards under duress, now running to his right, sprinting into the end zone. And Magic Zach has tied this game. Less than 3 minutes to play, and we are back dead even. 20 apiece. Paris and Frankfurt, night one of this inaugural EFA season.
That's just an amazing play by Edwards. He sees the blitz. First thing he does is when he sees the blitz and he knows the blitz is going to hit him, he makes sure that he protects the ball. And then after he makes sure that the ball's protected, he absorbs the hit, he absorbs the contact, and is still just tough enough on his feet to make a play afterwards. I get why they call him Magic now.
And the all-important extra point is tucked inside the right upright. Paris has stormed back in front, 21-20. A 1-point lead for the Musketeers. It had looked grim. It was 20-7. There was a pick six for the Galaxy. Mason Chambers, a 90-yard interception return, but Paris struck quickly, 1 minute 10 seconds, 28-yard connection. Edwards to Tekadam, and now again in a blink of an eye after forcing a punt, the Musketeers with excellent field position are able to cash in. Now can the defense, Terrence, do what they've done for most of the night? Remember, a defensive touchdown. And really, for the most part, Paris has been stifling here against this Galaxy offensive attack. And the rookie, Ethan Garbers.
Yeah, this is a good chance for them to get after Ethan. Frankfurt's offensive line has done a good job controlling the line of scrimmage in the run game, but at this point of the game, I mean, if they're going to be relying too heavy on the run. Ethan's done a good job in short passing, but has struggled to take the ball deep. So if you're the Paris defense, you want to make sure you keep everything in front of you. If you're the DBs, keep everything in front of you. And if you're one of those DNs, this is your time to shine right here. It is go get the quarterback, go hunt. If you get another turnover or something like that, that'd be great. Now for Frankfurt, for Ethan Garbers, no turnovers, no more turnovers. That's got to be the number one thought in the back of your head. And the number two thought, you cannot take any sack. Throw the ball away.
Garbers out of the gun. Over the middle to his tight end. He takes a lick, able to hang on to the pigskin. First down connection, Garbers to Botella Morena.
Now, if you're Frankfurt, you don't need to rush necessarily. You do have time. You can use every part of the field. You don't have to go straight to the sidelines. You can use the middle of the field here.
Garbers wheeling towards the near sideline. He is dragged down by Stanley Zergby. Euro ball veteran coming off the edge, flying and pinning his ears back. Excellent rusher, hard worker. Flag comes in at the end of the play.
Yeah, he might have been out of bounds by the time he got thrown down to the ground.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle, defense number 44. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Oh, that's a killer. Horse collar against Stanley. Always among one of the league leaders in sacks. 4th season with the Musketeers.
Now, I'm a little confused by that call. I don't know if that's a horse collar, but it was definitely. Oh yeah, his hand gets in the shoulder pad area. So, but it was definitely a late.
Yeah, I think because he initially grabbed inside that collar and shoulder, and I think he knew Stanley Zergbe, and he immediately pulled off and then pulled down with the other hand, thinking maybe he can get away with it.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
First and 10 for the Galaxy. On the plus side of the field, Garber sings one towards the far sideline. Covered well by Liggins, intended for Brevin Easton.
If I'm Frankfurt, I'm not throwing to Liggins' side. That's the one guy I'm not trying to challenge right now. He's had a great game for Paris. I do love that the spirit of American trash talking has made it to the European Professional Football League.
Zach Edwards, his 7-yard touchdown run, holding up here for Paris. Garbers breaking one off the left side over to his tailback, Almen, as he sprints to the near corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Frankfurt. Or did he step out? Based on the reaction from Almen, he will be pushed out of bounds just shy of the goal line.
This is just an amazing misdirection play. You see Garber breaks the pocket, and as he's moving up to the right, and it looks like he's about to take off running to the right, but then throws back to the running back on the left. And by the time he threw back to the running back, the whole defense has already started to drift with Garbers, which left that whole side of the field open.
And Mount is punished down for a short gain on 1st and goal. 2nd and goal is upcoming. The clock will stop inside of 2 minutes to play here on Friday night in Frankfurt. We have reached a 2-minute warning. Paris 21 and Frankfurt 20. We will return to PSD Bank Arena in a moment. This is opening night of the European Football Alliance. 1:55 to play in the fourth quarter. Paris clinging to a 21-20 lead over Frankfurt. They're on the verge of taking back the lead. Final couple of minutes. Terrence, Country Roads, one of your favorite tunes. I know you love to jam out to.
I mean, whenever we can talk about going back to good old West Virginia, I'm very impressed with this crowd. You can tell they're there in mass. They're locked in. They've been cheering this whole game, and they're very knowledgeable. They know what's going on.
Garbers throws left side. Passes caught by Elmen, but he has stood up before getting to that near side pylon. 3rd and goal coming up for the Galaxy. Country Roads was popularized thanks to an NFL game, the first one in Munich between Tom Brady and the Bucs against the Seahawks. 80,000 were singing it together. It's a big staple of European football.
In the second half.
Paris is going to call a timeout with 1:43 to play in the fourth quarter.
I was a little shocked by that play call there by Frankfurt.
Just run it up the gut.
The game where you're at, just run it. I wouldn't pass the ball at all. Right now, if you're Frankfurt, maybe that block kick might be in their head a little bit there, the block extra point. But normally in a situation like this, you want to run the ball 3 times and then kick the ball with as little time left on the clock as possible. I guess maybe they knew Paris had a timeout, so they figured we'll try to take advantage of a pass since they're going to call a timeout anyways. I don't know, but I'd be shocked here if they throw the ball again.
Garber's out of the huddle, now takes the snap out of the shotgun, will take off himself, beaming for the goal line, reaches out, he's going to be just shy. See, is hogtied by a bevy of Musketeer defenders right at the goal line. It's a nice move to kind of juke back to his right and at least get positive momentum. He'll be shy of the 1. Jack Del Rio urging his defense.
Is there a second team
on the
timeout
3rd round draft selection, 1985 to the New Orleans Saints. Consensus All-American linebacker at USC, coached the Jaguars, the Raiders. Another timeout.
Because here's the thing. You're running a couple of risks here on these last couple of plays by Frankfurt. Not only are you risking the turnover, luckily for Frankfurt, Garbers kept the ball on that play, but, incomplete pass stopped the clock. If you score, you don't want Paris to have any time to do anything. These last 2 play calls, a little odd. If this is anything other than a QB sneak, I'd be shocked, but I've been rough the last 2 plays.
Understanding is Paris has 1 timeout remaining. Garbers will go under center. Takes the snap. Lunges ahead. His Garbers have 6. The Galaxy surely think so. One of the Musketeers is holding the football underneath the pile. Congratulations being offered amongst the Galaxy, and Garbers has the touchdown. 26-21, and the Galaxy will go for 2. Apparently, this is still a conversation. It's very much unclear. Again, the scoreboard reflecting 21-20. Paris might have gotten another stop. You couldn't tell by the body language of the Musketeers here, or that of Frankfurt.
No, but I did notice when they showed a replay, there was a noise from the crowd.
Is that the runner was short to goal line?
Yeah.
However, the previous play is under free review.
Okay.
When they showed the replay, I heard the crowd almost have a little ooh, like they saw that he was short.
All right, so the call on the field is that Garbers was short, which would create one final 4th and inches opportunity. League will review under 2 minutes, so this should be bunched down from the booth as a referee orchestrated review. And what our crew is looking at, guided by Stanley Hammeter, is exactly what you're seeing. Now, we've had one of these reviews already go the way of the Galaxy, right? And it overturned with Garbers lunging ahead, but you can see the top of his helmet on that first review earlier in the ball game.
Yeah, this one, though, you can see where his knee goes down. But it's hard to see where the ball is.
Should this not be a touchdown, are you kicking the field goal here, Terrence, and taking the points? Or are you going for it?
Yes. I'm kicking the field goal.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball will be placed on a quarter-yard line.
Yeah, down 21-20 at this stage. I think I would have to agree, Terrence. You can't play with fire and try to get a touchdown. All you need is 3 for the lead, give you a 2-point lead. What a defensive stand for this Musketeers defense. And Jack Del Rio, no conclusive evidence to overturn the call at the goal line. Garbers is stopped shy of a touchdown. So instead of 26-21, Frankfurt remains 21-20 Paris. Buck 19 to play in this first ever EFA contest and 7th meeting between the Galaxy and Musketeers. Series deadlocked at 3 games apiece. Twice before, Ryan Rimler has kicked a game-winning field goal against Paris.
Now, if you're Edwards on the bench for, if you're Edwards, you're in the huddle, you're talking, Vincent. You got plenty of time here. No need to panic. You got a lot of yards to cover, but.
So Paris has the football. That was 4th down. Edwards just trying to run it out from the goal line. So that was a 4th down stop by the Musketeers defense. Timeout called now by the Galaxy.
Oh, there's some. I was a little confused there. So Frankfurt did not get it.
Yeah, a little bit of discrepancies here as we try to sort through the official downs and all that. We do know Paris has the football, so the Musketeers defense gets the stop. But now they've got to create enough forward momentum as Edwards has the snap and just falls to forward. (21-20) our score. Thomas Koshling, head coach for the Galaxy, continuing to pace, deciding not to kick a field goal and use Rimler, who has twice earned game-winning field goals against the Musketeers in his career, 4 game winners overall. They go to Garbers on 4th and inches, failed to get it. And now the Musketeers are just draining the final seconds with no timeouts remaining for the Galaxy. Edwards with what should be the final snap moves the pile ahead a few inches. and that should be enough. The Musketeers come to Frankfurt and earn a hard-fought victory in the inaugural game of the European Football Alliance, winning for the fourth time in 7 meetings over the Galaxy. Paris 21 and Frankfurt 20. Jack Del Rio scores the season-opening victory. Zach Edwards and the Musketeers down at one time 20-7. Terrence are able to conjure up some magic from their quarterback, Zach Edwards, as they come from behind and earn a 1-point win.
Yeah, if you're Paris, you got to feel really good about this. You started off slow, very lethargic coming out the gate. It took them about a quarter and a half to finally get their rhythm. For most of the game, you could argue that they were outplayed. So to be able to come away from a game like that with a victory is huge for Paris. But also they showed enough talent there where you could see that there's a lot to work with there, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The defense played pretty solid, but on the offensive, they do have some room to grow. I think it's one of those things where just timing, as they get in the rhythm deeper into the season, it'll tighten up. For Frankfurt now, this is going to be a tough loss to swallow because would you say they dominated most? Not dominated, but if this was boxing, they would have won this game on the scorecard, right? It felt like they were in control of most of the game. So for them to lose a game like this, where it felt like they dominated and controlled most of the game, it's got to be really heartbreaking for them. But at the same time, you can tell that there's a lot of talent on that team. They have a very good defense, and Ethan Garbers can make some plays with his legs. As his timing grows and gets a little more chemistry with his wide receivers, their passing game will evolve a little bit there. But I'd say for both of these teams, there's some pretty positive points you can take away from this, and I expect both these teams to be pretty competitive all season.
No question, Terrence. I appreciate you so much. I think you would agree that Zach Edwards deserves a player of the game nod. 3 touchdowns, I think it was in total, and the 1 interception. But Paris trailed midway through the fourth quarter 20-7. And that was after an interception returned by Chambers for the Galaxy of more than 90 yards that put Paris behind the 8 ball. But then a quick strike, 1 minute, 10-second touchdown drive, 28 yards to Hugo Tekadam. And then Edwards providing the ultimate game winner as he was able to run one in. Another short drive, 1 minute, 21 seconds after they forced a punt. 7 yards, Magic Zach running one in with 3:12 remaining in the fourth quarter. Ultimately, that would be the difference. A massive goal line stand to give to the defense of Paris as well. But Jack Del Rio and the Musketeers earned a 1-point victory, 21-20. Zach Edwards was awesome in his return after his year absence, and Game 1 of the EFA is in the books as the Musketeers win 21-20 over Frankfurt. Edwards finishes 12 for 20, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, and an 8-yard game-winning run. Terrence, we'll do it again soon, huh? I had a heck of a time with you for Night 1, Friday Night Lights, first ever time in Europe.
Kyle, it was an honor calling this game with you. I appreciate it, and thank you.
We will talk again soon. Appreciate all the viewers. Again, more coverage coming your way. Live on YouTube tomorrow, the Nordic Storm and the Prague Lions. That's 1 o'clock Central Europe time tomorrow. There'll be another game on Sunday as well. I want to thank the entire technical team from Two Circles. Jason Johnson, our producer. He is Terrence Newman. I'm Kyle Schasberger. Final score again, one more time from Frankfurt. It was the Paris Musketeers 21 and the Frankfurt Galaxy 20 from PSD Bank Arena. Talk again throughout the weekend, this inaugural weekend of EFA, the European Football Alliance.
Is that the runner was short to goal line. Therefore, the try is unsuccessful. Frankfurt is not charged by their second team timeout.
The try was successful.